Chapter 783. A child at Zherlin's age would throw a tantrum 4 or 5 times a night. Qinzhao almost didn't dare to sleep, afraid that Zherlin would throw a tantrum again. It couldn't be helped. Every parent had to go through this. Qinzhao didn't dare to turn off the lights, afraid that Zherlin would be scared to wake up in the dark. Kids were more sensitive. Around 4 in the morning, Zherlin woke up again. Ada. Apart from this tone, Zherlin didn't know how to make any other sounds. Every time little Zherlin cried or laughed, her saliva would splatter everywhere. For Qinzhao, who had just become a father, this was a very special feeling. In every parent's eyes, their child was the most special and unique. Qinzhao's diaper-changing skills had gone from rusty to proficient. He also had to soak milk powder and clean Zherlin up and down. Qinzhao never thought that he would be so skilled at all of this. People were forced to be like that. If he was at home, Qinzhao would basically let the underlings do it. In San Francisco, there was no one to serve him. Everything had to be done by himself. Every time, he would sleep for an hour. Then Zherlin would wake up and throw a tantrum for another hour before going back to sleep. Kids at this age were like this. They were sleepy and active at the same time. Because her body was growing rapidly, she ate a lot. After working until 5, Zherlin finally fell asleep. Qinzhao also fell asleep in a daze. When he opened his eyes again, he realized that Zherlin had woken up too. This time, Zherlin didn't cry as soon as she woke up. Instead, she stared at Qinzhao with her big, beautiful eyes. No matter how tired he was last night, Qinzhao's mood would brighten when he saw this little fairy. Qinzhao pinched Zherlin's cheeks. Her delicate cheeks always made people unable to let go of them. Zherlin giggled. She didn't even have any front teeth and her mouth was leaking air. She stuck out her pink and tender tongue. But then, Zherlin's thin brows suddenly furrowed. Then she grinned again. Usually, when Zherlin showed this expression, Qinzhao knew that something bad was about to happen. The fairy needed to change her diaper again. As expected, when Qinzhao opened Zherlin's diaper, a horrible stench rushed out. Qinzhao pinched his nose and hurriedly carried Zherlin to the bathroom. After cleaning Zherlin's crotch, he patted Zherlin's bare butt. "All right, don't talk about poop anymore." "Ha. Daddy." Qinzhao's face darkened. He didn't know if Zherlin was talking about poop or if she was really calling him that. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. Qinzhao thought that the breakfast he ordered had arrived. But when he opened the door, he saw West's old face. "Wah!" Little Zherlin immediately cried. "Fuck, can you not scare my daughter so early in the morning? Please cover your face with a black cloth the next time you appear in front of my daughter." As Qinzhao coaxed Zherlin, West's face darkened. "President, I was also young in the past. It's just that time is not old. Don't you people in China pay particular attention to respecting the elderly? Time is unforgiving if you're beautiful. Time can't do anything to an ugly person like you." If not for the fact that he couldn't beat Qinzhao, West really wanted to fight him to the death. "How can you be so insulting? Whatever, I won't argue with you. Tell me, why are you here so early in the morning? You're not really here to scare my baby, are you?" Qinzhao asked impolitely. "President, we've investigated Satanism. I don't think you need to go personally." "No, I have to go," Qinzhao said resolutely. "President, according to the information I've received, the strongest thing in Satanism is the lizard monster from yesterday. There are very few of them, so it's not worth you to go personally. Also, you have to bring Zherlin. Do you want her to come into contact with such bloodshed at such a young age?" Qinzhao thought about it. He indeed didn't want Zherlin to come into contact with such things. But he wasn't satisfied. It had already been 2 or 3 days, but the anger in his heart hadn't subsided. "President, I promise I'll capture the leaders of that evil cult and hand them over to you to deal with. Besides, it's precisely because you've been doing everything yourself that we lack actual combat experience. This is a good opportunity for us to have a good fight. Are you sure you can do it?" Qinzhao asked. "President, don't look down on us. Plus, Gaia is also participating in this mission. Okay, remember what you said. I want her alive, preferably in one piece. We'll try our best. Just then, the waiter came. Sir, please excuse me. President, you're having such a big breakfast. Let's eat together. Fuck off. Qin Zhao glared at West. West ran back to his room dejectedly. Qin Zhao also planned to buy something for Fei Lai and his friends in LA since he was free today. When he went to New York last time, Fei Lai had nagged him for days because he didn't bring a gift. Things that could be bought in San Francisco could also be bought in LA. However, gift-giving was about the process, not the gift itself. Of course, since he was going to buy something, he had to be careful. Thinking of gifts for Fei Lai, Qin Zhao first thought of jewelry. He and Fei Lai had been together for more than half a year. He'd only given her one gift, the Red Moon Heart. Even though the Red Moon Heart was precious, Qin Zhao still felt like he owed Fei Lai. Qin Zhao entered the jewelry store. He really wanted to see the kind of story where people look down on others. Then he could show off and slap them in the face. Unfortunately, the employees in real jewelry stores were all very polite. They didn't look down on others at all. A rather pretty employee walked up. Sir, how may I help you? I want to give my girlfriend a gift. Do you have any recommendations? Qin Zhao asked. Sir, what's the price of your gift? Something under $1 million. The employee's eyes immediately lit up. She'd thought that Qin Zhao was carrying a baby and was dressed rather plainly. His outfit was probably only worth $1,000, so she really looked down on him. She didn't expect Qin Zhao to be so rich that he could give a gift under $1 million. The employee walked up to the counter. Sir, what do you think of this necklace? This necklace was designed by the famous designer, Ella J.K. The pendant is a 45-carat sapphire, and at the same time, it is inlaid with 121-carat diamonds. Chapter 784. Ya. Jerlin, who was sitting on the counter, pointed at the glass below. Clatter! Clatter! Qin Zhao turned his head. Jerlin became even more excited and kept pointing at the bottom of the glass. Miss, what's this? Qin Zhao asked the salesgirl. Show me. Sir, this is natural amber. It was excavated from South America. There's a young snake sealed inside. According to the appraisal, this amber is over 10,000 years old. Qin Zhao took the amber. It was about 7 or 8 centimeters in diameter. Ada. Seeing the amber in Qin Zhao's hands, Jerlin became even more excited. She reached out, wanting to take it. Qin Zhao handed the amber to Jerlin. Jerlin opened her mouth to bite. Sir, this amber is worth $200,000. You can't, it's fine. I'll buy it, Qin Zhao said. There's no poison in it, right? No. The salesgirl looked at Qin Zhao, her eyes shining. Qin Zhao had actually spent $200,000 just to bite his daughter's mouth. This guy was an out-and-out tycoon. Will it crack her teeth? My daughter hasn't grown teeth yet. I'm afraid it'll affect her growth. Sir, amber is also called beeswax in the East, the salesgirl said. It's soft and mainly made of resin. It's not poisonous. Okay, continue to recommend me gifts for my girlfriend. The salesgirl looked at the amber that Jerlin kept biting. No, it was $200,000. Sir, how about this platinum bracelet? This platinum bracelet is also the work of a master. It's inlaid with red, blue, green, and yellow gems. Each gem is 50 carats, and the surface of the bracelet is engraved with European and American-style patterns. The bracelet weighs 77 grams. Oh, how much? This bracelet is expensive. It might exceed some customers' budget. How much? $1. 2 million. Is there a discount? Sorry, sir, we don't bargain. Holding the bracelet, Qin Zhao looked left and right. It was indeed beautiful. Especially with the 4 different colored gems, it looked even more beautiful. Not to mention wearing it at banquets, It could even be worn as a normal accessory. Okay, help me pack it up. Hearing his answer, the clerk's heart almost jumped out of her chest. For the sales of such luxury goods, the staff would take a commission of 2% to 3%. If she sold this bracelet, she would earn $20,000 to $30,000. The clerk's expression didn't even change when Chen Zhao swiped his card. His eyes shone brightly as he said, "Sir, your bracelet is ready." "Well, thank you. Sir, would you like to look at other jewelry?" Chen Zhao suddenly remembered that Steven's movie seemed to have stopped screening. There would be a celebration party soon. Since she had agreed to attend, she should find a gift for him. Steven had helped him a lot. It was thanks to his help that they were able to get Fei Lai for 12 million. Moreover, he was going to give her a helicopter. How could she be stingy? "By the way, do you have any gifts for your male friends?" "My friend is older," Chen Zhao said. "It's best if he can show his mature personality." The shop assistant almost jumped up. Sure enough, he was not an ordinary big customer. "Sir, may I know the price of this gift?" "Less than $3 million. A gift for Steven and a gift for Fei Lai had different meanings. Therefore, a good relationship could not be judged by the price. Sir, we have a Minster watch in our shop. If you're interested, I can ask the manager to take it out for you to take a look. I don't know much about pocket watches. Is there anything special about this Minster watch?" Munster was a pocket watch master from the 17th century. He also represented the highest level of craftsmanship in that era. Munster made a total of 8 pocket watches during his lifetime. 5 of them are either missing or destroyed in history. Now 2 of them are in the hands of 2 billionaires. The pocket watch in our shop is the 3rd Munster watch that exists. Okay, then take it out for me to take a look. Mr. Chen, the price of this watch is exactly $3 million. Then it's within my budget. Please wait a moment. A while later, the shop assistant and manager came out. The manager was a mature woman. She was also graceful and charming, but she was even more charming than the young female employees. "Hello, sir. I heard that you want to buy a Minster watch?" "Yes." "Then please come to my office to talk, okay?" "Is that okay?" "Of course." The manager looked at Zherlin in Chen Zhao's arms. She immediately recognized the amber in Zherlin's hand. It was the $200,000 amber from their jewelry shop. Chen Zhao was not the most generous person in their shop, but he was the most straightforward. In less than 10 minutes he had spent $1.4 million without even blinking. Yeah. Little Zherlin seemed to be hungry. "My daughter is hungry," Chen Zhao said. "I'm going to take her back and make a bottle of milk powder for her. Come back tomorrow." "Sir, how about I ask the shop assistant to make milk powder for your daughter?" The manager knew very well that if the customer before her left, he might never step into her shop again. She could not easily miss a good customer when doing business. "Do you also provide infant milk powder?" Chen Zhao asked, smiling. "Our jewelry shop doesn't just provide jewelry. We also provide excellent service." "Okay, as soon as possible. I don't want my daughter to be hungry for too long." "Okay, please follow me." At the office, the manager and 2 security guards escorted a box in. "Mr. Chen, please take a look." The manager opened the ancient box. Chen Zhao suddenly felt a wave of magic wash over him. "Huh?" Chen Zhao was surprised. "Can I pick it up and see?" "Of course." Chen Zhao picked up the pocket watch and studied it. The pocket watch was still moving. The copper body of the watch had been maintained very well. It had an ancient aura to it. The watch gave Chen Zhao a very strange feeling. Every time the second hand moved, Chen Zhao felt his magic jump along with it. "Is this a magic item?" Chen Zhao took out his card. "I'll take this watch." The female store manager sucked in a breath of cold air. "It was that simple? Don't you want to appraise it again?" Chen Zhao's generosity made the manager uncomfortable. The shop assistant hadn't even returned from making the milk powder. Were all Chinese so generous when buying things? Soon, the procedures were done. Buying a luxury item was rather complicated. For example, the appraisal instructions, certificate, and purchase contract all needed to be signed. Chapter 785. Qin Zhao kept holding onto the watch. The pocket watch gave Qin Zhao an extraordinary feeling. Qin Zhao tried to inject magic into the watch. Suddenly, Qin Zhao's magic surged into the watch like a broken dam. At the same time, the second hand of the watch started spinning like crazy. Qin Zhao's body collapsed. He almost couldn't hold Zherlin. He knelt on one knee and supported himself with one hand. His forehead was covered in sweat. "Sir, are you okay?" a passerby asked when he saw Qin Zhao kneeling on the ground. "Thank you. I'm fine." Qin Zhao stood up again. Fuck, he'd been through all kinds of storms. Today, he'd almost died because of this small watch. The watch was really weird. But if it was a magical item, what was its use? Or was it a demon badge? Oh, he had to keep it for his own research. He had to choose another gift for Stephen. Qin Zhao turned around and entered the jewelry store again. But the female employee was closing the door. "Wait, are you going to close?" Qin Zhao came in and asked. "Sir, the item you bought is a luxury item. Without a valid reason, you can't return it. Please leave." The female employee interrupted. I don't want to return it." "I want to, sir. I said no refunds. Don't you understand? I want to buy something else." The female employee panicked. "We're closing now. If you want to buy something else, please come back tomorrow." How could a businessman push his business away? Qin Zhao checked the time. "It's only 3 in the afternoon, right? You're closing so early? Did you make too much money? Are you planning to take a break?" The female employee's expression didn't seem right. She gave Qin Zhao a hard look. Just then, another female employee walked over. Smiling, she said, "Sir, what do you need? I can help you buy it." Qin Zhao remembered that this female employee was the only one in the store just now. He didn't see any of the female employees here. Just then, Qin Zhao saw blood seeping out from under the counter. The female employee who'd come to serve Qin Zhao suddenly took out a gun and pointed it at him. Fuck, why did he run into a robber when he came out to buy a gift? "Careful!" Qin Zhao grabbed the gun with one hand. Baya, Qin Zhao was shooting at the man's head, but he missed. Did I miss? At a distance of 1 meter, he actually missed? Fuck, what a stupid gun! Qin Zhao threw the gun away in anger. Seeing that Qin Zhao had not only missed but also dropped the gun, the female robber was overjoyed. She pulled out a dagger and tried to stab Qin Zhao. Qin Zhao did the same thing again. He snatched the dagger and stabbed it at her neck. She clutched her neck and stared at Qin Zhao in disbelief. Then, she slowly fell down. The salesgirl screamed in fear. Qin Zhao hugged her shoulders. "Don't be scared. It's fine now." The shop assistant was terrified. She pointed at the store and said, There are robbers inside." As soon as he said that, 2 people came out. When they saw Qin Zhao and his partner on the ground, they immediately raised their guns. Qin Zhao kicked the robber's corpse over. At the same time, he pulled the female employee and ran out. After running out of the store, Qin Zhao immediately pulled down the sliding door and locked the robbers inside. The sliding door of a jewelry store was even sturdier than a security door. There were also no other passages inside. "Call the police," Qin Zhao said. "Huh?" called the police. "Oh." The female employee was still in shock, but she suppressed her uneasiness. The robbers inside wanted to open the door, but Qin Zhao's foot pressed down on the sliding door. They couldn't open it. The robbers fired a few shots at the door, but it was unscathed. A large group of police came. Qin Zhao and the female employee cooperated with the police and answered a few questions. At the same time, they told them about the situation inside. There had been 5 robbers inside, but Qin Zhao had killed 1. The remaining 4 had relatively high firepower. Of course, they didn't even have a hostage in such an encirclement. It was impossible for the robbers to break out even if they wanted to. Then, the robbers were captured. They didn't resist at all. They just surrendered. This was normal. The robbers had high firepower, but they couldn't handle the police's numbers. They also used heavy firepower to suppress them. This guy's really strong. A few police officers gathered together and watched the surveillance video. He killed the robbers with one hand while carrying a child. That's China Kung Fu, right? His shooting skills are a bit bad. He can't even hit at such a close distance. These robbers aren't normal people. They've been bodyguards and mercenaries before. They're all extremely vicious. Just then, Qin Zhao and the female employee walked out of the lounge. After the two were questioned, Qin Zhao told them the whole story. He had the female employee's testimony and the surveillance video. Plus, Qin Zhao's job and identity as a university professor allowed him to receive respect wherever he went. Thus, he was treated quite well in the police station. He was treated like a hero. After all, he'd only used one hand to stop this vicious crime. Sir, thank you for saving me. The female employee looked at Qin Zhao lovingly. You're welcome. I just happened to help. Qin Zhao smiled. Sherlin was still holding the milk bottle. He'd gotten it from the female employee. Can I treat you to a meal? Chen, are you okay? Just then, Alex walked in and interrupted his conversation with the female employee. The female employee thought that Alex was Qin Zhao's girlfriend. She secretly gave Qin Zhao a note. Call me when you're free. Bye. Chen, what's the situation now? Nothing. I just ran into robbers. Qin Zhao said casually. If you participate in any dangerous things next time, can you not bring Zherlin? I know you're strong, but Zherlin can't protect herself at all. Alex looked at Qin Zhao angrily. I didn't want to participate, Qin Zhao argued. Trouble came to me. I think I should take care of Zherlin. Alex brought up the past again. That's impossible. If you want, go have your own baby. Don't steal my daughter. Do you have to make it hard for me? You know I can't have a baby. Not really, Qin Zhao said, shrugging. You can do a test tube. Alex's face darkened. She gritted her teeth and glared at Qin Zhao. Chapter 786. Just as Qin Zhao and Alex were about to walk out of the station, a police officer hurriedly ran out and blocked their way. Mr. Chen, the four robbers escaped. Before they left, they said that they would find you for revenge. Qin Zhao was surprised. Don't tell me the police are with the robbers? The officer was furious and ashamed at Qin Zhao's reply. This was probably the biggest insult to a police officer. Working with the robbers? Mr. Chen, please believe in our impartiality. Fine, I believe you. Please catch the robbers quickly, Qin Zhao said indifferently. I have something else to do. I'll go back now. Mueller, the guy who killed Ryan, is the thing in his hands? Mueller's eyes were bloodshot. Ryan was his girlfriend. But Ryan had died before him. His eyes were filled with hatred. That's right. The female store manager said that an Asian carrying a child bought the watch. I thought this would be the easiest mission. I didn't expect such an accident. Quake took a deep breath. I hate accidents. Boss, I'll go personally and bring the Asian's head and the watch, Mueller said, gritting his teeth. I don't want any accidents this time, so bring more people. If the guy can kill Ryan so easily, he shouldn't be weak. Boss, I'm enough, Mueller said. I don't need anyone else. Don't you understand me? Quake looked coldly at Mueller. I don't like accidents. The first time can be an accident, but if you fail a second time, it only proves your incompetence. You've already screwed things up the first time. Don't you know how to self-reflect? Mueller lowered his head. Boss, I understand. It's almost time, West said. Check your equipment, Gaia reminded. No problem. Me too. This was their first serious mission since Qin Zhao became the president. Of course, when they were in Los Angeles, they'd occasionally fought evil spirits, but that wasn't a mission. After checking, they set off from the hotel directly. However, other than Gaia, the others also felt a little guilty. Although they were the ones who requested Qin Zhao not to do the job, Qin Zhao was not the only one. But when the time came, they themselves were a little scared. West, are you sure we can handle this? Zhao asked. Have confidence in yourself. The enemy this time is a group of evil cultists. If we can't even handle a few evil cultists, what else can we do? We can't stay under the guild leader's protection forever, right? Actually, there's nothing wrong with staying under the guild leader's protection forever, Morad muttered. Everyone fell silent. All right, what Morad said seemed to make some sense. All right. No matter what, we have to complete the mission on our own this time, and we have to do it beautifully, West encouraged. When the car drove out of the city, Gaia suddenly said, There's a car following us. What? Have we been discovered? Could this be a trap? Everyone tensed up. Padya was even more frightened. Let's call the guild leader and ask him to save us, she said. Be quiet, Gaia said, frowning. Jalug, stop the car. The car stopped by the roadside, and so did the other car. Gaia walked directly toward the car. The person following behind the people from the association was none other than Benjamin. Hi, how did you discover me? Benjamin looked awkwardly at Gaia, who had walked to the window. What do you think? Benjamin's car was parked a dozen meters behind them. In this kind of place where there was no village ahead or shop behind, with a car following more than 10 meters behind, unless one was blind, it was impossible to avoid it at all. Plus, Benjamin didn't have any experience in following people. Why are you here? Why are you following us? Are you going to surround those monsters? I'll go with you. You? No, it's too dangerous. It's not something normal people can participate in. You'd better go back to where you came from. No, look, I prepared a lot of weapons. Benjamin opened the bag on the passenger seat. There were all sorts of things inside. Stun batons, stun guns, fiber nets, and even animal traps. Your tools are useless against those monsters. To them, they're like toys. Don't underestimate me, Benjamin said indignantly. I'm not as strong as you, but I can protect myself. He felt that he was being underestimated, so he had to prove himself. Benjamin was a man with a strong sense of pride. Otherwise, he wouldn't have chosen to investigate alone because of his captain's suspicions. Gaia suddenly went to the car, grabbed her sword, and slammed it down on the hood of Benjamin's car. After a loud bang, Benjamin's car was destroyed. Benjamin was dumbfounded. Gaia glanced at Benjamin. Now you can't follow us anymore. With that, Gaia strode off. Benjamin was left alone in the darkness. His face red, Benjamin shouted, You think you can get rid of me like this? It's useless. I'll use my own methods to prove myself. Benjamin dragged his bag, which weighed dozens of kilograms, out of the car, carried it on his back, and continued forward. But by then, the road was completely dark. Benjamin started to feel afraid again. After walking for a while, Benjamin was physically and mentally exhausted. Suddenly, there was a rustling sound around him, and Benjamin's scalp went numb. Benjamin ran as fast as he could, and a black shadow chased after him in the darkness. Although he couldn't see clearly, Benjamin could roughly make out the outline in the darkness. It was the same kind of lizard monster he had encountered before. As Benjamin ran, he took out his gun, turned around, and shot at the lizard monster that was chasing after him. Bang, bang! The lizard monster instantly disappeared behind him, and Benjamin's shot missed. The lizard monster was too fast, and it had the cover of the night. Suddenly, Benjamin felt a gust of cold wind behind him. When Benjamin turned around, he saw the lizard monster raising its claws and slamming them down on his head. Benjamin instinctively raised his gun and fired 2 more shots. This time, the lizard monster didn't even bother to dodge. I'm dead this time. Benjamin had already lost all hope. Chapter 787. Just then, a gust of wind whizzed past Benjamin's head. The lizard monster stopped moving. Benjamin looked at the lizard monster nervously. Just then, the lizard monster's arms suddenly broke into pieces and fell to the ground. Then its shoulder slid down to the ground. Benjamin's face was filled with shock. When he looked up again, Gaia had unknowingly appeared behind the lizard monster. Gaia looked down at Benjamin. "What do you think? Do you still want to follow me?" Benjamin gulped. "How about, you send me back?" Gaia sneered. "You wish." With that, Gaia swaggered off. "Wait for me. Don't leave me here alone." Benjamin was scared out of his wits as he chased after Gaia. Gaia returned to the car. Benjamin followed. "What, you still want to follow? Do you think I can go back to the city with my legs?" "Forget it, get in." Benjamin looked at the people in the car with an awkward expression. "Hi, everyone." Everyone looked at Benjamin. "Gaia, are you sure it's okay to bring him along?" West asked. "I have some equipment. Maybe you guys can use it." Benjamin opened his backpack generously. "This is a military stun baton. It has 2 million volts and an instant output of 30,000 volts. Even a tiger can be electrocuted." Jalag took out a similar stun baton. 10 million volts and an instant pulse of 100,000 volts. Benjamin's face flushed. He was about to take out the stun gun. Jalag took out another stun gun. A short-distance stun pulse gun. There's no ejection device. It attacks with electric arcs and an instant output of 100,000 volts. Benjamin was speechless. Many of the equipment he'd brought weren't available on the market. Some of them were bought from the internet, and some were modified by him. He thought that he could at least fight the monsters with these weapons. But compared to Jalag's weapons, his were like children's toys. "Put this on." Gaia tossed a bulletproof vest to Benjamin. "I have a bulletproof vest." "This isn't a normal bulletproof vest," Gaia said. "I'm afraid that bulletproof vest of yours can't even block a single hit from those monsters." The car slowly stopped outside the church. Even under the night sky, the dilapidated church could still be seen. Flames could be vaguely seen in the church, and the air was filled with a trace of strangeness. Everyone got out of the car and looked at each other. The oppressive feeling that the church gave them made them feel as if their chests were blocked, and it was difficult for them to speak. "Let's go in." Gaia's expression was solemn. West made up his mind and said to Benjamin behind him, "Follow behind." Everyone pushed open the church's door and saw a few dozen black-robed men standing in front of a magic array in the center of the church. "In the name of the supernatural organization, I'm giving you an ultimatum. Surrender immediately," West announced loudly. All the black-robed men turned to look at the people from the association. Being stared at by so many pairs of eyes made them feel a little creeped out. The pairs of eyes hidden under the black robes were all emitting a strange light. "Wah!" With a cry, the black-robed man in the center of the magic array raised a naked baby high in the air. The black-robed man was still chanting a magic prayer. "Put the baby down!" Gaia yelled. The black-robed man slammed the baby onto the ground. Then, there was no more sound. Everyone's heart felt like it had been yanked hard. It was an indescribable pain and an erupting fury like a volcano. Just then, another cultist handed a child to the black-robed man in the center. Gaia finally couldn't hold it in anymore. "Stop!" Waving her burning sword, Gaia rushed to the center like a wild beast. But at that moment, the black-robed cultists tore off their clothes. They revealed the appearance of lizards and made lizard-like noises. "Kill all of you monsters! Kill, kill, kill!" Gaia rushed over without a care, but she still couldn't stop them. She couldn't stop the second child from being smashed onto the ground. Gaia wasn't the only one angry. The others were just as furious. Gaia swung her sword. 4 lizards were cut in half at the waist. Gaia leaped high into the air and swung her sword at the black-robed man in the center. The black-robed man stretched out his right hand. It was a palm covered in bone spikes. The black-robed man's palm suddenly turned into a huge ghastly claw and swiped at Gaia in the air. Gaia was sent flying along with her sword. "Kill them all and send their flesh and blood to Lord Solaris." Large numbers of lizards and the people from the association started fighting. Gaia kept rushing forward, trying to stop the black-robed man's evil actions. But she couldn't do it. The black-robed man killed a third child right in front of her. The black-robed man's body started convulsing. His breathing became heavy. A wave of power surged out of the magic array and entered through his feet, filling every corner of his body. Come on, Lord Cereras, I want more. Continue. Continue. Just a little more, give me a little more, I can take it. Benjamin wanted to help, but he realized that the battlefield didn't allow him to. West was also standing with him. Sir, aren't you going to help them? I'm their brains. I'm commanding them. But I don't think you've commanded them before. As their commander, I have to protect myself first, West said matter-of-factly. Just then, a lizard monster charged over. But when it reached West, its movement seemed to have slowed down by 10 times. West shoved the stun baton into the lizard monster's mouth. Electric arcs instantly blasted the lizard monster's mouth. Just then, West saw Gaia being sent flying again by the black-robed man in the middle. Sir, we seem to be at a disadvantage. Miss Gaia doesn't seem to be able to defeat the man in the middle, Benjamin said worriedly. We're doomed. West's face was full of bitterness. Are we going to die? Benjamin's face was full of fear. West looked at the battlefield and hesitated for a moment. What a headache. Benjamin watched as West picked up his phone and put it down again and again. He seemed to be in a dilemma. Mr. West, what are you doing? Is this phone some secret weapon? Chapter 788. If it's a secret weapon, why don't you use it? Nehayman asked, confused. Smiling bitterly, West stared at his phone for a long time. Then he looked at the bitter struggle of the association members. Is there some restriction on the secret weapon? Nehayman couldn't understand. Wasn't the current situation dangerous enough? Why not use the secret weapon now? West looked at his companions. Guys, should we send a distress signal? Bang! Gaia was sent flying again. West shrugged. Okay, it's time to call for help. Nehayman heaved a sigh of relief. So there was a rescue team. Wah! Chen Zhao suddenly woke up. He'd forgotten to set his phone to vibrate. He hurriedly picked up Jerlin. At the same time, he picked up the phone in annoyance. Hey, why? Are you done? No, West answered awkwardly. No? Why are you calling me when the problem isn't solved? Do you know you've woken up my daughter? Do you know how much effort I had to put her to sleep? You know she's going to torture me again in the next 2 hours. Chen Zhao's hands suddenly became wet. It also smelled bad. President, we're in big trouble now. This cult is stronger than we thought. Even Gaia can't beat their boss. Okay, send me the location. I'll go after changing Jerlin's diaper, Chen Zhao said, annoyed. President, Jerlin seems hungry again. I'll make her another bottle of milk powder. Chen Zhao quickly changed Jerlin's diaper and made the milk powder. Then he carried Jerlin out of the guest room. Just then, the door next door opened. Alex walked out of the room. Chen Zhao was stunned. Why are you here? Why can't I be here? This is a hotel. Okay, how did you know I was going out? I heard Jerlin crying and the sound of you opening the door. Is the soundproofing of this hotel that bad? Chen Zhao asked, confused. Suddenly, he looked at Alex. Did you plant a bug in my room? Where are you going? Alex asked. Going out. I know you're going out. I'm just asking where you're going. By the way, lend me your car. Is it in the garage? I'm asking where you went. Alex stared at him with a dark expression. Little Jerlin can't sleep every time she wakes up, so I'm taking her out for a walk. Where did he go? Didn't I tell you? Let's go to the park or the 24-hour supermarket. Is there something wrong with your brain? Whatever, I'll just get a cab myself. Chen Zhao didn't want to waste time with Alex. Are you going to kill someone? No, don't let your imagination run wild. Qin Zhao carried little Zhilin into the elevator. Alex chased after him. I'll take you there. No, I want to have father-daughter time with little Zhilin. Ding! They arrived at the underground parking lot. Alex clearly didn't believe him. If you go out adventuring, leave little Zhilin with me. Qin Zhao rolled his eyes. I'm worried. Why? You don't trust me? Did you forget that there was a group of criminals looking for revenge at the police station during the day? I think you should stay away from me, Qin Zhao said. By the way, which car is yours? The one over there. Alex tossed the keys to Qin Zhao. Qin Zhao handed the child to Alex and went to start the car himself. But before he could take a few steps, an SUV started up without warning and rammed into him. Boom! The front of the car slammed Qin Zhao into the wall. Alex shrieked in fright. Just then, 4 people got out of the car. Muller looked at Qin Zhao, who'd been slammed into the wall, with a savage expression. I told you that I'm enough, but the boss forced you guys to come. Okay, let's find the thing first. Muller looked at Alex. You're this guy's woman, right? Is this his daughter? He killed my woman, so you'll be my slave. If he can't satisfy you, I'll satisfy you. As for your daughter, I'll raise her, and then she'll be my slave just like you. Alex went from terror to astonishment. She saw Qin Zhao, who should have been dead, raise his head. Then the SUV was pushed away by him. Yes, pushed away by him. The 3 criminals who'd wanted to search Qin Zhao realized something was wrong, but it was too late. Qin Zhao walked toward Muller. Sensing danger, Muller turned his head abruptly. But Qin Zhao wasn't behind him. Muller saw the 3 corpses on the ground. Qin Zhao, who should have been pressed against the wall, was nowhere to be seen. Alex stared at Qin Zhao in disbelief. Qin Zhao had been right under her nose the whole time. Muller turned his head nervously and saw Qin Zhao's murderous gaze. What did you just say? Can I trouble you to say it again? Muller raised his gun, but the next moment, Qin Zhao bent his wrist that was holding the gun. Enduring the pain, Muller raised his leg to kick Qin Zhao. Qin Zhao grabbed Muller's leg with one hand and pulled hard. Muller let out a heart-wrenching scream. His leg was torn off. Qin Zhao raised his leg and crushed Muller's other leg. Muller clawed the ground with both hands. He wanted to escape. But now, he could only crawl with both hands. Qin Zhao looked around. There were no cameras. A smile appeared on Qin Zhao's face. Qin Zhao climbed into the criminal's car and ran over Muller on the ground. Then he came back and ran over again. It was Alex's first time seeing Qin Zhao's savage side. She was so frightened that she was trembling all over. Alex, give me little Zhilin. You're going to kill their accomplices? Do they have accomplices? Qin Zhao asked, confused. They just said that their boss sent them to kill you and steal your watch. They have a boss? Qin Zhao thought that the 4 of them were all of them. Why didn't you say so earlier? If you did, I'd be able to keep them alive. Alex looked at Qin Zhao in annoyance. What are you going to do now? Continue walking around the park. Drive the criminal's car? Of course. Their car looks pretty good. Alex couldn't understand Qin Zhao more and more. This guy seemed to have inhuman combat ability. After being hit by the car, he was completely unharmed and acted as if he didn't hear anything. Moreover, the criminal's leg had been torn off by Qin Zhao. How much strength would it take to tear off a person's leg? Chapter 789. I want to go too. You can't go. Qin Zhao rejected Alex's request. Why can't I go? Aren't you going to the park? I'm going to dump the body in the wilderness, Qin Zhao said. So you definitely don't want to be an accomplice. Alex fell silent. Indeed, she and Qin Zhao were from 2 different worlds. From the first day she met Qin Zhao, he seemed to be accompanied by trouble. Then the next day, Qin Zhao killed people right in front of her. Must you bring little Zhilin with you? I have a disease. What do you mean? I get restless and violent when I don't see my daughter. Just then, West called again. President, when are you coming? Oh, I'm already downstairs. Wait for another 20 minutes. President, we're about to die. If you don't come soon. West hung up the phone. All the lizard monsters had been killed. Only the cult leader in the middle couldn't be killed no matter how hard they attacked. The black-robed man kept laughing strangely. It's useless. It's useless. All your efforts are in vain. Flames of anger filled Gaia's body. He raised his flaming sword and swung it at the black-robed man. However, the flaming sword was easily blocked by the black-robed man. The man slapped the sword. Instantly, a strong electric current surged toward Gaia. Gaia screamed and took a few steps back. He couldn't even grab the sword. Gaia, move! Moore yelled and charged at the black-robed man. Nehaman didn't understand. If Gaia couldn't beat the black-robed man, what could a kid like Moore do? The black-robed man thought so too. When Moore rushed over, he grabbed Moore's neck with one hand. But the next moment, Moore's body suddenly exploded. Boom! The flames swallowed the black-robed man. Everyone was overjoyed. Did it work? The flames gradually dissipated, but the black-robed man was still standing there. The robe on his body had already been burned, revealing his true appearance. Right now, many mouths opened on the black-robed man's body. At the same time, there were irregular bone spikes of different sizes. Everyone covered their mouths with their hands, but their eyes were bursting with endless anger. Idiot! The black-robed man's arm suddenly extended, and his entire arm was covered with bone spurs. It swept through the church like a meat grinder. Gaia raised his great sword and forcefully blocked the black-robed man's attack. Morad took out a handful of seeds from his bosom. The moment these seeds were scattered, they turned into vines that covered the black-robed man's arm and tied it up. Jalanash also cast a spell at this time, and a hailstorm condensed above the black-robed man's head. The next moment, the hailstones came crashing down. Hailstones the size of fists smashed into the black-robed man's body. Then, Giselle controlled the spinning ball and shot it at the black-robed man. Benjamin also went up to help, shooting the black-robed man with a stun gun. Enough, you mortals! You have no idea what kind of great existence you are facing. The black-robed man roared. At this time, a black blade suddenly appeared in his other hand. Die! The black-robed man stabbed his sword into the ground. The ground quickly cracked, and black palms of different sizes seeped out from the ground, grabbing everyone. A pair of huge bone spurs appeared on the black-robed man's back, and a thick tail grew from his back. The magic formation beneath the black-robed man's feet continuously provided him with magic. But at the same time, this magic was also seeping into the black-robed man's body. This power was eroding the black-robed man's willpower. The black-robed man's face twisted. He was trying his best to resist this power. Lord Serreras. Please give me some more time. Lord Serreras. Please don't devour your most loyal servant. I can do more for you. The black-robed man's power increased again, and everyone was in unbearable pain from the black palms. If not for the special protective gear they were wearing, they would have been crushed by the black palms. Gaia roared, and the flames on her body suddenly increased. She actually shook off the black palms, and suddenly threw the great sword in her hand. Whoosh! In a situation where no one had expected it to happen. The flaming great sword pierced through the darkness, and the black-robed man's chest. Everyone stared at Gaia in disbelief. Did she win? But at this moment, the magic formation on the ground suddenly spewed out a large amount of dark matter, continuously pouring into the black-robed man's mouth. The black-robed man tried to resist, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not. The black-robed man's body also twisted rapidly, and his body grew larger and larger. And his body became more and more like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Gaia rushed in front of the black-robed man, pulled out her great sword, and turned around to slash at the black-robed man's neck. But at this moment, the black-robed man, who had already transformed into a monster, grabbed Gaia. Gaia's great sword slashed downwards. She originally wanted to cut off the black-robed man's arm, but this only made the black-robed man loosen his grip. But before Gaia could land, the black-robed man's tail swept over. Gaia's entire body flew more than 20 meters away, and she slammed heavily into the wall, vomiting blood. Lord Cereras, please give me one last chance. The black-robed man was still trying his best to resist the erosion of Cereras' power. But the more he used Cereras' power, the faster Cereras' power eroded him. Beep! Just then, the sound of an engine came from outside the church. Everyone perked up. Soon, they saw Qinzhao walk in with little Jerlin in his arms. Benjamin was stunned. How come it's him? Isn't this the Chinese man? Why is he here? Then, the black-robed man's arm suddenly extended, grabbing at Qinzhao. More accurately, it was grabbing at little Jerlin in Qinzhao's arms. The bronze sword appeared instantly. With a whoosh, the black-robed man's hand was cut off. Benjamin gaped at Qinzhao in shock. Gaia's power was so great that she couldn't even cut off the hand with her great sword. But Qinzhao had actually cut it off with one strike. His sword was clearly much smaller than Gaia's. But the black-robed man's hand did not stop because of this. Dark matter quickly seeped out from the cut on his wrist and turned into a hand. The dark power eroded the black-robed man's consciousness again. Just then, his pupils rolled up and turned black. The human world. It's such a familiar smell that I miss. You won't miss it very soon. Qinzhao looked at Cereras. Chapter 790. Perhaps I've been sealed for too long, to the point that humans have forgotten the fear I bring. Cereras stretched his body. He'd been freed from the seal, but he didn't enter the human world with his own body. He was still residing in the black-robed man's body. I'm Satan's guard. Pfft. Qinzhao couldn't help but laugh. You? Satan's guard? Qinzhao didn't know Satan, but he had some understanding of the levels of hell. Cereras was now in his demon form. He wasn't a regular demon either. He was a low-level demon. He was on the same level as Raymond and Beelzebub. However, as the highest ruler of hell, how could Satan have such a low-level demon as his guard? Even Zophi and Beelzebub's guards that Qinzhao knew were of a higher level. Cerelas could feel Qinzhao's disdainful and mocking gaze. Cerelas felt that his pride had been hurt. Human, you must show me enough respect. What if I don't? Cereras suddenly opened his mouth and spat out a large amount of dark matter at Qinzhao. The dark matter wasn't the dark serum. Qinzhao didn't know what it was either. However, Qinzhao didn't plan on coming into contact with it. Qinzhao's dark serum rose too, forming a black wall. The dark matter that Cereras spat out couldn't do anything to the dark serum. Seeing this, Cereras stopped spitting out the dark serum. Someone come over and help me carry my daughter. West immediately came over. In the end, Qinzhao said in disdain, Don't touch my daughter when you're old and ugly. Patya, you have the biggest boobs. Jalanash and Giselle looked down at their chests subconsciously. The friendship between the three sisters in the supernatural organization was instantly cracked. Cereras looked at Qinzhao. He could vaguely feel that Qinzhao was different from the people who'd attacked him earlier. Come, Satan's guard. Show me what you're made of. Feeling the heavy disdain, Cereras was even more furious. He charged at Qinzhao. Qinzhao stretched out his arms and grabbed Cereras's. The two of them wrestled. Cereras had thought that he was invincible in the human world, but he was wrong. However, he was wrong. He realized that the human in front of him was stronger than him. And it wasn't just a little bit stronger. He didn't know what level his power was right now, because there was no way to measure it. Therila's arms started to bend. Qinzhao's strength was released. Benjamin looked at Qinzhao in shock. Just how powerful was this Chinese? Even that monster was no match for him. Qinzhao's expression was relaxed. Is that all you can do? He didn't even open the eye of power and the mouth of gluttony. Celilaz suddenly turned around and swept his tail at Qinzhao. Bang! Qin Zhao was swept by the tail and moved a few steps to the left. You're playing dirty, right? Qin Zhao pinched his neck. Human, do you think this is a duel? Serere sneered. If you want to play dirty, I'm your ancestor. Qin Zhao suddenly threw a punch. Solaras had felt Qin Zhao's power before, so he obviously didn't want to take it head on. But at this moment, a car suddenly appeared above Cerilas's head. Bang! Cerilas was dumbfounded by the crash. Then, Qin Zhao followed up with a punch. A few of Cerilas's teeth were shattered. Qin Zhao then grabbed the car and swung it at Cerilas. Cerilas was sent flying. Who is he? Benjamin was dumbfounded. Was this guy Superman? He was using an SUV that weighed at least 2,500 kilograms as a fly swatter. Cerilas climbed up and panted like a bull. He landed on all fours and pointed the two huge bone spikes on his back at Qin Zhao. Then, he charged at Qin Zhao. Qin Zhao watched as Cerilas charged over. The eye of power and the mouth of gluttony opened on his right arm. The dark serum was attached to his right arm, and he clenched his fist. His right fist made the sound of bones colliding. The moment Cerilas charged over, Qin Zhao raised his fist. Bang! Half of Cerilas's head was smashed into pieces. The huge body was smashed into the ground, which also cracked. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. They knew how strong Qin Zhao was. Back then, Qin Zhao had smashed the dozens of tons of the fallen source into the ground. But to Benjamin, this punch was filled with shock and violence. The bronze sword appeared again. Qin Zhao walked toward Cerilas with it. Cerilas stood up shakily. The dark substance covered his damaged body again. Seeing Qin Zhao walk over, Cerilas raised his claw and swiped at Qin Zhao. Qin Zhao swung his sword and the claw flew away. Then, Cerilas raised his right claw and swiped at Qin Zhao. Qin Zhao swung his sword again, cutting off Cerilas's arm as well. Cerilas was in extreme pain and took 2 steps back. Qin Zhao swung his bronze sword again, his eyes fierce. You sent people to capture my daughter, right? Wait. I didn't. When the bronze sword swung over, the friction in the air made the blade burn red. The sword slashed across Cerilas's stomach. Cerilas's organs flowed out, but it still wasn't enough to kill him. Qin Zhao didn't plan on killing Cerilas immediately. Qin Zhao swung his sword again, and another piece of Cerilas's flesh flew away. Do you know that because of you, my daughter was woken up? Everyone was speechless. As expected, Qin Zhao still cared about this. Another piece of flesh flew away. Qin Zhao's face was fierce and his eyes were murderous. Do you know that my daughter is growing right now? Anyone who disturbs my daughter's sleep deserves to die. Qin Zhao stabbed his sword into Cerilas's body, pinning him to the ground. Qin Zhao himself was on top of Cerilas's body. Stop. What are you doing? Qin Zhao grinned at Cerilas. Pull out his tendons and skin him. Qin Zhao reached out and grabbed Cerilas's flesh and pulled hard. Everyone heard the sound of flesh tearing and Cerilas's pained cries. Who asked you to capture my daughter? Who asked you to disturb my daughter? The flesh on Celara's body was torn off piece by piece. Everyone's hair stood on end. They knew that Qin Zhao had always been brutal in battle. But this was the first time they'd seen Qin Zhao so cruel. West, Giselle said. The call just now was from you. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me. Moore said. I never asked you to call the president. All of them wanted to draw a clear line between themselves and West. Looking at Cerilas being tortured by Qin Zhao, West couldn't help but shiver. Chapter 791. The blood, flesh, and bones behind him were like a mountain. Everyone shuddered, especially Benjamin. This was especially true for Benjamin. He initially thought that Cerilas was brutal enough. But now, it seemed that Cerilas wasn't as brutal as this Chinese. He was a butcher. Cerilas was like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Wah! Jerlin started crying again. Qin Zhao looked back. Patya was so scared that she hurriedly coaxed Jerlin. This was too scary. What if the president thought that he'd woken Jerlin up? Patya was about to cry. Qinzhao turned to look at Serera's on the ground. It's all your fault. My daughter is crying. Die, die! The dark serum poured into Serera's bloody body. Serera started struggling. The dark serum found Serera's demon core and took it away. Finally, Serera's breathed his last. Qinzhao chopped off Serera's head and dragged it back to the crowd. Everyone was so scared that they took 2 steps back. Although Serera's only had his head left, his face made people shudder in fear. Serera's had died too tragically. He'd been tortured to death by Qinzhao. West, can we bring this back? Huh! I want to hang it in my office. I'll think of a way, West said reluctantly. Also, you guys can't even deal with this trash. You need more real combat experience. Everyone was speechless. Apart from you, no one else could beat this monster no matter how hard they trained, right? But they didn't dare to say the truth. President, your daughter. Patya felt that Jerlin was a hot potato now. If Jerlin cried, the president would probably kill her. Hold me for a while longer. Look at me. I'm covered in blood. It's not convenient. Qinzhao looked at Benjamin. What's wrong with him? Benjamin was scared of Qinzhao. After all, he'd seen Qinzhao's most terrifying side. He got lost, Gaia said calmly. Kill him. Benjamin was so scared that he peed his pants. Haha. Just kidding. Look, we're all good people. We're on the side of justice. Qinzhao patted Benjamin's shoulder. Hee. Benjamin's smile was forced. He believed that they were partners of justice. But Qinzhao seemed like an evil villain no matter how he looked at it. By the way, I remember you said that you wanted to protect me and my daughter, right? Benjamin's face immediately turned red. Protect your daughter? With a daughter calm like you around, what kind of monster would dare to harm your daughter? Suddenly, Qinzhao turned around and looked at a shadowy corner of the church. Do you want to come out yourself, or do you want me to pull you out? There was an old man hiding in the corner of the church. When he heard Qinzhao's words, he jumped in fright. Don't kill me, don't kill me. I have nothing to do with Satanism. This old man was wearing the black robe of the evil sect. Everyone found it hard to believe that this old man had nothing to do with the evil sect. Bruce was so scared that he almost peed his pants. He had seen the entire battle. This man was too terrifying. The demon from hell had been cut into pieces by this man. Speak. Be honest and I'll give you a quick death. I really have nothing to do with Satanism. I'm the priest of this church, Bruce said, wiping his tears. Bruce wiped his tears and said, After the leader of the Satanist cult occupied this place, he forced me to become a member of the Satanist cult. I have always pretended to be obedient. I am different from those brainwashed believers. I have always believed in God. Then how did you fool them? Qinzhao didn't believe that the evil sect didn't have any methods to control people. The leader of Satanism will use the demon's blood to control and demonize believers, including me, Bruce said. But I've been using holy water to purify myself, so I haven't fallen or been demonized. Come here. Let me smell your scent. Qinzhao crooked his finger. Bruce's legs trembled in fear. He knew how terrifying this man was. He was scarier than a demon. As the priest of this church, Bruce was actually the guardian of the seal. In the church's documents there was a record of this demon called Salaraz. It also recorded Salaraz's various crimes and unparalleled power. But now, Salaraz's head was in Qinzhao's hand. The demon, who'd always been known for his cruelty and evil, had been tortured to death. Bruce now saw Qinzhao as the scariest human in the world. If someone said that Qinzhao was Satan now, he wouldn't doubt it at all. I told you to come here. Don't you understand? Bruce could only walk to Qinzhao. He was really afraid that Qinzhao would slap him to death. Qinzhao grabbed Bruce's arm and cut it. Then he dipped his finger in the blood. Yes, he's a pure human, Chen Zhao said after confirming it. Since you've been in the cult for so long, have you never thought about escaping? Or sending a message? So many children have been killed. Don't you care at all? Gaia looked at Bruce coldly. I want to, Bruce said bitterly. But those lizard monsters have already remembered my scent. I can't escape at all. Plus, there's no communication device here. How can I send a message? Humph. Useless. Gaia had always been upset about not being able to save those children. Those children were all less than a month old. Gaia's heart was very heavy. Chen Zhao patted Gaia. He knew that she wasn't in a good mood. Everyone was tired today, so Chen Zhao didn't continue torturing them. However, it was a happy thing to be able to hug Jerlin to sleep every night. No matter how terrible it was outside, as long as his daughter was by his side, everything would become better. At night, Chen Zhao's phone suddenly vibrated. Chen Zhao picked up the phone and glanced at Jerlin in a daze. She was still sleeping. Hello, who's this, Mr. Chen? My subordinates went to find you today, right? Chen Zhao woke up immediately. Who are you? You can call me Quick. Oh, and then? Where's my subordinates? I'm still alive, which means that they might have already seen God. Or Satan. Why, are you interested in letting me send you on your way? Chapter 792. So troublesome. Why can't I just spend a day with my daughter? What a headache. Oh, you have a daughter. Ha! You have to be careful. She's so young. She can die easily. Chen Zhao caressed Jerlin's cheek. At the moment, Jerlin was sleeping soundly. Her small mouth was still moving. She was probably dreaming and drinking milk. Thanks for the reminder. I'll be careful. Chen Zhao's voice was filled with warmth. But you should be careful too. Don't let me see you. In the morning, when Chen Zhao woke up, he realized that Jerlin still woke up earlier than him. Every day, Jerlin would wake up earlier than Chen Zhao and stare at him like that every day. Chen Zhao pinched Jerlin's cheek and got up to do what he had to do every day. Changing diapers, making powdered milk. It was another refreshing day. Just then, Alex's call came. Hey Chin, Deng Boli's party on the sea is today. Got it. Are you going to attack them? You're thinking too much. Like you said, they're all billionaires. How can I attack them? I still want to live a few more years. Okay, I'll talk later. I'm going to have some fun with Jerlin. After breakfast, Qin Zhao carried Jerlin to the dock and rented a yacht. However, before Qin Zhao could board the yacht, he saw Alex standing at the dock and looking at him. Alex, why are you here? If you want to go out to the sea, you have to rent a yacht here. Why am I here? Alex looked at Qin Zhao in annoyance. You're not going out to play, are you? You're right. I'm indeed going out to play. Boss, that Chinese is so bold. He ignored your warning and even dares to go out to play. Go get a helicopter. I want to know what kind of expression that Chinese will have when he sees me. Boss, how many people should we bring? All of them, Quick said. Quick and the others boarded a helicopter. It was a modified military helicopter. It could hold 20 people. It was originally a decommissioned helicopter of the U.S. Air Force. Some organizations bought it at a low price and used it for private purposes. Of course, with America's air traffic control, it was impossible for this helicopter to carry any weapons. It was mainly used for manned missions. Armed forces like Quake often needed to carry out multi-person transport missions. If it was an ordinary model of plane, I'm afraid it wouldn't be able to accommodate so many people from Quake. Boss, he's alone. Why did he bring so many people with him? Quake looked at his men. Muller thought so too, but now he's dead. I'm not Muller. Our employer put a bounty of $2 million for us to get that pocket watch. It's not a high price, but it's not low either. Originally, if everything went smoothly, we could have gotten the bounty by spending a small amount of money. But now, 5 people have died. This kind of loss has exceeded the scope of our plan. I don't want to add to the loss, and I don't want any more accidents. Chen, what's your plan? Alex was very nervous. Chen Zhao was empty-handed, and he was carrying a child. Was he going to take revenge for Zherlin with just this kind of preparation? As far as Alex knew, Deng Boli had 3 escort yachts other than his own luxury yacht. They were yachts, but they were armed with heavy firepower. The U.S. had a detailed classification of military and civilian weapons. However, this classification only applied to ordinary people. For rich people, they could even get a nuclear bomb if they wanted one. She knew that Qin Zhao was powerful, but this was the sea. He wasn't facing a group of enemies who could shoot at him with guns, but armed with heavy firepower. This wasn't a victory that could be won with one's own strength. What plan? What plan? I don't have one. I just want to go around the sea, fish, and sunbathe. Chen Zhao said matter-of-factly. Chen Zhao said matter-of-factly. Oh no. I forgot to bring sunscreen. Do you have any? Alex's face darkened. I'm serious. Don't play dumb with me. I'm serious too. Look at my sincere expression. Qin Zhao looked at Alex with sincerity. Facing this vast ocean, I feel like my heart has broadened. All grudges, love, hate, and hate have vanished into thin air. I've let go of my hatred. Now, I can face anything calmly. For a moment, Alex almost believed Qin Zhao's words. Chen, I don't care what plan you have, but please don't take Zherlin into danger. What danger? I already said I'm out to play. Qin Zhao said calmly. Stop nagging me. It's rare for you to go out to the sea. Go change into a bikini and sunbathe. Don't waste the bright sunlight. Saying that, Qin Zhao stood up. Where are you going? I'm going to see if there are fishing tools on the boat. Qin Zhao really went to find fishing tools. Unfortunately, there were only a few harpoons in the storage room of the yacht. Just then, there was a whistling sound in the distance. Qin Zhao went to the deck and looked at the helicopter chasing after him. We're from the Coast Guard. We suspect that there are illegal contraband goods on your boat. Please stop the boat immediately for inspection. Alex looked at the helicopter in confusion. What's going on? Chen, there are illegal contraband goods on the boat? Ha! We came from San Francisco's North Beach Pier. What illegal contraband could there be? They're clearly looking for trouble. Looking for trouble? Those bandits. Qin Zhao shrugged. Then what do we do? They're in the sky. We can't do anything to them. Alex's expression turned serious. See? It's such a good holiday, but people always come to ruin my mood. Now's not the time to joke around. Hurry up and think of something. Qin Zhao stood on the roof of the yacht. Holding the harpoon, he made a throwing gesture. Chen, what are you doing? You're not going to hit the helicopter with a harpoon, are you? At the same time, in the helicopter, Quake's subordinates all laughed. Haha. Is this Chinese joking? He wants to shoot us with a harpoon? Oh my god, I didn't know that Chinese are so humorous. Doesn't he know that the helicopter's windshield is bulletproof? Chapter 793. Chen, don't joke around. Alex was speechless. Can you be more serious? Put down the harpoon. Hiss. Alex heard the sound of something tearing through the air. Haha. That guy really shot the harpoon. I'm dying of laughter. Boss, you should keep him and add some jokes to our team. Quake was also laughing hard, but the next moment, he couldn't laugh anymore. The harpoon came faster than he had imagined. The moment the harpoon touched the windshield didn't even have the slightest effect. The person in the helicopter was also laughing, but the next moment, the harpoon stabbed into his chest and pierced through. Without any pause, the harpoon pierced through the back of the seat and nailed another person to the seat. The pilot's head tilted. Quake rushed over and steadied the steering wheel. But now, no one could laugh anymore. Everyone felt like they were choking, and their expressions froze. 2 people had died instantly. They'd been killed by a harpoon that they thought was a joke. But the harpoon had pierced through the helicopter, and their courage. Alex's expression froze too. She wasn't a physics major, so she didn't know how much strength was needed to pierce through the helicopter with a harpoon. But she knew that it wasn't something a normal person could do. No matter what, using a harpoon to hit a helicopter was too unreal. Qin Zhao picked up the other harpoon. He'd found 2 harpoons in the storage room. That one didn't seem to have enough strength. Not enough strength? Do you want to shoot the helicopter down? Oh no, he's going to shoot again. Boss, pull up! Pull up! By now, the criminals in the helicopter were already frightened by Qin Zhao's harpoon. They swore that they'd never seen such a terrifying person. The helicopter pulled up to 100 meters. Only then did everyone feel much more at ease. But they couldn't attack from 100 meters in the air either. But Qin Zhao didn't think so. He charged up for the second time. He opened the mouth of gluttony and the eye of power. He took a step forward and shot the harpoon with the most standard throwing posture. The harpoon tore through the air. The high temperature even burned the spearhead red from the friction with the air. Alex saw a beam of red light shoot through the air. Then, it penetrated the bottom of the helicopter, which was 100 meters in the air, and penetrated the top of the helicopter. Then, the helicopter's propellers ignited. The people in the helicopter were in a state of panic, and the helicopter itself was spinning. The helicopter that had lost control fell toward the sea. Alex was dumbstruck. Her mind was blank. Was this something a human would do? Shoot down a helicopter with a harpoon? I'm not dreaming, right? Looking at where the helicopter had fallen, Qin Zhao said to Alex. Go and park the boat there. What are you doing? Of course it's to save people. Didn't you see the helicopter crash? We should save people. Alex rolled her eyes. You're talking as if you didn't do it. When the helicopter crashed into the sea, half of the 20 people in the helicopter were dead, and the other half were too injured to be saved. Quake and the remaining people struggled to break away from the helicopter and floated to the surface of the sea. But at that moment, the yacht approached. Qin Zhao leaned against the railing. Hey, do you need help? Quake's eyes flashed as he stared at Qin Zhao. He was still armed. He was calculating the success rate of attacking Qin Zhao. Which one is Quake? Qin Zhao asked, looking at the people on the surface of the sea. The others all focused their gazes on Quake. Do you remember what I said last night when we talked? Qin Zhao smiled brightly. Looks like I'm quite lucky to have met you today. Mr. Qin, it was my fault before. I hope you can forgive me. I won't disturb you again. Sorry, I always like to eliminate the roots. Qin Zhao suddenly cast a large net, trapping everyone. He closed the net and tied a metal plate to one end of the rope. Then he tossed it into the sea. Alex's pupils constricted. Qin Zhao was going to sink all of them into the sea at once. Okay, it's done. Alex looked at Qin Zhao. She started to believe that Qin Zhao really had a way to deal with those billionaires. Keep sunbathing. After another 2 hours of sailing, the target yacht finally appeared in their field of vision. However, there was an armed ship in front and on both sides of the super-luxurious yacht. Just then, the communication channel connected to Qin Zhao's yacht. This is the Seagull. Please leave the nearby waters. If you come within 3 nautical miles, we will attack. Fuck. Qin Zhao cursed into the communicator. This isn't your home. What right do you have to ask me to leave? Idiot. He didn't even bother to explain. Alex looked at Qin Zhao. Let's see how you're going to deal with this. As long as I get close, I'll be attacked. But how can I take revenge if I don't get close? Do you want to use the same trick again? There were no harpoons on the yacht now. Even if there were, the same move probably wouldn't work on the yacht. Fine, Qin Zhao said helplessly. Since you don't want me to get close, I won't. Alex looked at Qin Zhao. She didn't believe that Qin Zhao would give up so easily. Just then, Qin Zhao's phone rang. Hello, Mr. Qin. A woman's voice came from the phone. Are you here? Qin Zhao asked. Yes. Then let's do it, Qin Zhao said. Boom, boom, boom. 3 balls of sparks suddenly rose from the distant sea. Alex's heart skipped a beat. What's going on? Where did the attack come from? The three armed ships turned into fireballs and sank into the water. The explosion was too sudden. Almost everyone on the armed ships was spared. This is the Seagull. This is the Seagull. Please help us immediately. We've been attacked by a torpedo. Please help us immediately. This is the Jellyfish. You just said that I'm not allowed to get close, so I don't dare to go over. You have to come immediately. Do you know how many rich people we have on the ship? I don't know. Can you tell me how many rich people you have on the ship? Chapter 794. Alex looked at Chen Zhao, astonishment in her eyes. So, it was all arranged by him? An attack from the water? With a cynical expression, Chen Zhao was still talking to the people on the Seagull. Is it everyone's combined worth $500 million? Or one person's worth $500 million? One person. One person, $500 million. The communicator seemed to have been jammed. Their conversation didn't flow smoothly. What a pity! Looks like we can't keep chatting. Just then, Qin Zhao and Alex saw a speedboat rush out from the Seagull. It was extremely fast and quickly escaped from the Seagull. Alex looked through her binoculars and her expression changed. Dang bully, he escaped! Qin Zhao looked at the speedboat's speed. Even Guret's submarine, which he'd contacted, wouldn't be able to do anything to the speedboat, let alone his yacht. That speedboat is really fast. Qin Zhao looked into the distance. He's the culprit. Aren't you worried at all? Huh? What culprit? I'm already used to it. I don't care about revenge at all, Chen Zhao said nonchalantly. I believe that God will punish him. Alex gritted her teeth in anger. She knew that Chen Zhao was talking nonsense, but his nonchalant attitude still enraged her. You're counting on God? Of course. I'm a devout believer. Amen. Suddenly, something appeared in the distant sea. It charged toward the speedboat at an astonishing speed. Alex's pupils constricted, and she looked at the sea. What's that? A submarine? God's will. The thing chased behind the speedboat. The people on the speedboat started firing wildly at it with their machine guns. But for the thick-skinned thing in the water, the machine guns in their hands were like tickles. The thing suddenly jumped out of the water. Alex's mouth opened wide. Disbelief and shock were written all over her face. What was that? A killer whale? You must be joking. How could there be such a huge killer whale? The people on the speedboat also gaped at the killer whale above their heads in astonishment. What did a 60-meter killer whale look like? A normal reverse halberd whale was about 10 meters long, with the longest not exceeding 12 meters. But the killer whale above them was more than 60 meters long. Just its length alone was 5 times that of a normal killer whale. As for its weight, it was 30 to 40 times that of a normal killer whale. This was a terrifying super beast. With the killer whale's mouth facing down, everyone on the speedboat jumped off in fright. The killer whale bit the speedboat and sank it into the sea. At the same time, it created a huge splash. Let's go, Qin Zhao said. But there's a sea monster there. What sea monster? That's God's messenger. Qin Zhao rolled his eyes. Alex was speechless. Don't be like this, there's a big sea monster there. If this was a monster movie, it would definitely be a big boss. Our small yacht will be swallowed by that sea monster in one gulp. Unfortunately, Qin Zhao ignored Alex's dissuasion and insisted on going. The yacht approached the drowned people. Hey, how are you guys? Save us. Come up. Qin Zhao pulled the drowned people onto the boat one by one. Deng Boli and his bodyguards boarded the boat. They all sat on the ground, fear still on their faces. Alex looked at Qin Zhao and watched as he warmly welcomed them. Do you want some beer? Thanks. These people were all extremely frightened and were still uneasy at this moment. Is this your wife and child? Deng Boli looked at Alex and little Jerlin. That's my child. She's so cute. Unfortunately, her mother passed away not long ago. Really? What a pity. Deng Boli's expression had recovered quite a bit. Her mother was a police officer and was shot to death not long ago. Deng Boli's expression froze. He suddenly had a bad feeling. I've been looking for her mother's killer, Chen Zhao said seriously. Just then, the bodyguard behind Deng Boli suddenly raised his gun. But before he could shoot, Chen Zhao punched him in the face. The bodyguard flew over the railing of the deck. Then, the giant beast appeared again and swallowed the bodyguard in one bite. I pray to God that the killer will appear before me. Chen Zhao continued talking to himself as if nothing had happened. Last night, I had a dream. In the dream, God told me to go out to sea. I followed God's will and suddenly, I felt like my entire body and mind had become open. I seemed to have forgotten about my hatred. Alex watched Chen Zhao blabber nonsense. She suddenly felt that the guy was funny. His enemy was right before him, but he could still maintain his rationality. Sir? Chen Zhao stopped Deng Boli. Don't interrupt me. What was I saying? Forget hatred. Yes, thank you. Forget hatred. I suddenly realized that I've forgotten hatred. My body and mind became happy, so I decided to go fishing at sea. Chen Zhao picked up a bundle of rope beside him. Deng Boli and the others instinctively took 2 steps back. What are you doing? Fishing, but I forgot to bring bait, Chen Zhao said. Don't resist. I said don't resist. Chen Zhao put the rope around a struggling bodyguard's neck. The noose tightened and the bodyguard's limbs flailed. Sir, how much money do you want? I can give you money. I have a lot of money. I don't want money. I just want to relax. I want to be happy. Chen Zhao put the rope around Deng Boli's neck. More beer? Finish the beer in your hand. This is the last time you drink. Forget it. Chen Zhao took the beer from Deng Boli's hand. Don't throw inorganic things into the sea. Okay, you can go down now. Deng Boli and his bodyguard looked at Chen Zhao. They opened their mouths but couldn't say anything. Get out. Don't you understand? Just then, Aman surfaced. When everyone on the boat saw Aman, their legs turned to jelly. Look, it's already tired of waiting. Don't make us get off the boat. I can give you as much money as you want. Don't kill me, please. Don't kill me. Chapter 795. Didn't God say that? Alex watched as Chen Zhao kicked Deng Boli and the others into the sea. Deng Boli and his bodyguards were all tied together. Ropes were tied around their necks as they struggled in the water. They had to make sure that no one would sink. If someone sank, the others would sink too. You better swim faster. God's messenger is here again. Looking at the scary black shadow, Alex felt her scalp tingle. But Chen Zhao wasn't afraid at all. Zhilin wasn't afraid either. Seeing Aman swim over, she clapped her hands excitedly. Yeah. Hee hee. Alex was speechless. The father and daughter were so carefree. They were clearly following the plot of a monster movie. Zhilin, do you like Aman? Yeah. Zhilin smiled brightly. Aman? Who's Aman? The guy in the water. Chen Zhao patted the deck. Aman, come out and see my daughter. Aman's huge head popped out of the water. Alex was so scared that she took 2 steps back. That mouth was definitely capable of dragging their yacht into the water. My pet, Chen Zhao said. Aman, time to work. Aman dove into the water and dragged Deng Boli and the others into the water. Alex couldn't calm down yet. Disbelief was written all over her face. This clearly underdeveloped killer whale was his pet. Deng Boli and the others didn't resurface again. When are you leaving? Alex asked. Tonight's flight, Chen Zhao answered. Everything in San Francisco had been settled, but Chen Zhao felt like he'd forgotten something. Oh, Chen. What? Do you mean what you said last time? What? Chen Zhao was confused. What did he say to Alex? Could it be that he was careless and made a solemn vow to her? Chen Zhao looked at Alex's eyes. It didn't seem like it. Alex wasn't a love-struck woman. Forget it. It's fine. Alex shook her head. Don't stop. What did I say? If I can do it, I can definitely do it. You can't, Alex said indifferently. Qinzhao didn't even have the mood to pack. You want to borrow money from me? Alex glared at Qinzhao. Ignoring him, she helped pack up Jerlin's things. From Jerlin's things, Alex could tell how much Qinzhao doted on his daughter. In a week's time in San Francisco, little Jerlin's belongings were collected in 2 large boxes. Qinzhao had been holding a grudge against Alex for not finishing her sentence. Qinzhao had no energy to do anything. What did he say? Why didn't Alex tell him everything? Did she fall in love with him? This was obviously impossible. Alex was a lesbian. Qinzhao thought he was pretty charming, but Alex was a lesbian. But charm didn't have any effect on sexual orientation. It was like a man with a normal sexual orientation had a very, very outstanding brother by his side. No matter how outstanding this brother was, this man could not change his sexual orientation. Anyway, Qinzhao didn't think that he had the ability to make it straight. Everyone from the association followed Qinzhao onto the plane. It was rare for Qinzhao to buy first-class tickets for everyone's return trip. They all enjoyed it. Excuse me, please. Qinzhao moved to the side and let someone enter the inner seats. Hello? The man beside him took the initiative to talk to Qinzhao. He looked at the stroller in the aisle and Jerlin. Is this your daughter? She's so cute. Yes, my daughter. Qinzhao nodded with a smile. I'm Cisco. I'm Qinzhao. You can call me Chen. The 2 men chatted passionately on the plane, as if they were old friends who hadn't seen each other in years. Cisco, what do you do? I'm an accountant. If I have a sum of cash, is there any way to transfer it to the bank without going through the tax bureau? Depends on how much it is, Cisco said. What if it's $5 million? I'm afraid that's difficult. You have to go through some special methods. One is an offshore company. The tax bureau is powerful, but they can't do anything about the accounts of offshore companies. You can launder the money through fake investments. Another is through art investments. You have to contact the auction company first, and then transfer the money to the auction company through the auction. Then, you can launder the money through the transfer of the art. Of course, there's a discount in the middle. Then I have the money at home. Cisco, are you willing to help me? Cisco's eyes lit up. Do you trust me? Of course. The money is just waiting to rot at home. I have to get rid of it as soon as possible. After getting off the plane, Qinzhao carried Jerlin and walked out of the airport with Cisco. Just then, West and the others drove over. President, over here. That's my subordinate. Let's go. Cisco's heart was burning. He didn't expect Qinzhao to believe him so easily. Qinzhao really believed that he was an accountant. Of course, while Cisco wasn't an accountant, he was really good at laundering money. However, Cisco didn't want to help Qinzhao just like that. He wanted to take all of Qinzhao's $5 million. After getting into West's car, West glanced at the rearview mirror. President, are we going to your home or the headquarters? To the headquarters, Qinzhao said. Mr. Chen, didn't you say that the money is at your home? Cisco asked warily. Let's go to my workplace first. West and the others didn't understand why Qinzhao would bring someone he met on the plane to the headquarters. Whatever. He was the boss, so he had the final say. Along the way, Qinzhao played with Jerlin. The kid's mother must be a beauty. Unfortunately, her mother passed away not long ago, Qinzhao said with pity. Faint sorrow appeared on his face. Sorry, I didn't know. Cisco hurriedly apologized. If I may ask, did she die of an illness? No, she was shot. She was already 9 months pregnant at the time, Qinzhao said calmly. The gunman escaped on the way to prison and attacked her mother. Jerlin's mother gave birth to my daughter when she was seriously injured, Qinzhao said calmly. Psyker tried to move, but Qinzhao stopped him with one hand. Chapter 796. Everyone in the car immediately perked up. So this was the president's enemy. Bright smiles appeared on everyone's faces. Saiker didn't expect to meet his enemy on a plane. Qinzhao also didn't expect to meet Saiker. Qinzhao had seen Saiker's photo in the document Alex had given him. Mr. Saiker, I'm curious. You're still a wanted criminal, right? How can you take a plane? What do you want to do to me? What do I want to do to you? I haven't thought about it yet, but I can tell you the result. You'll definitely die. As for the process, do you have any suggestions? President, we can put him in a bucket filled with leeches, West said. Then we can put him in a cage filled with rats. President, I heard that China has a kind of punishment. You put someone in an urn and then slowly boil him over a small fire. The person will slowly cook. Saiker shivered. What kind of person was this? Didn't they have any laws at all? Patya adjusted her glasses. President, I think you're going too far. I think we should skin him and then put him in salt water. That way, he'll die of pain. On one hand, you can take revenge, and on the other hand, he'll be free as soon as possible. When Saiker heard the first half of the sentence, he thought that this gentle and weak girl had finally said something human. But when he heard the second half, he was scared out of his wits. President, I think we can feed him parasites and cover his entire body, President. Saiker trembled in fear. Were these people all monsters? When the car arrived at the headquarters, Saiker was dragged off the plane. The people who'd arrived earlier didn't understand. Wasn't this the guy who'd sat beside Qinzhao on the plane? West, who's he? Why did you bring him here? Our VIP. More accurately, he's the president's VIP. He killed Zherlin's mother. Everyone looked at Saiker. This guy was really unlucky. He'd actually sat beside Qinzhao on the plane. Save me. I'm willing to turn myself in. I'm willing to turn myself in. Saiker couldn't wait to go to the police station. This group of people was too terrifying. Furthermore, each and every one of them completely disregarded the law. Chop off his hands and feet first. Don't let him escape. West, keep an eye on him. If he runs, you'll suffer for him. After a long journey, Qinzhao finally returned home with Zherlin in his arms. Baby, this will be your home from now on. The little guy was already chirping excitedly in Qinzhao's arms. When he got home, he could finally breathe a sigh of relief. He also called Feilai. Feilai, I'm going home. In the evening, Feilai returned with her family's pets. All the pets circled around little Zherlin curiously. Feilai, do you miss me? Feilai blushed, but she was clearly more interested in little Zherlin. Zherlin will be my daughter from now on. Of course. Qinzhao didn't put little Zherlin in the master bedroom with Feilai. When foreigners took care of their children, they usually slept separately from them from a young age. Qinzhao had been hesitating. Should he let Zherlin sleep with him and Feilai or let her sleep alone? After some hesitation, he decided to let her sleep alone in a room. Of course, the underlings would help Qinzhao take care of the kids. Feilai was especially passionate tonight. Also, the night before going to San Francisco, Feilai was serious. She really wanted children, so she didn't take any safety measures. It was a wonderful night for little Zherlin. She realized that she seemed to have a lot of little friends. Of course, she also had a lot of big friends. The inferior demons had been busy around Zherlin. As long as Zherlin made any movements, they would immediately react. The next day, Feilai took the initiative to ask again. Feilai, I have Zherlin at home, but my feelings for you won't change. I just need it. Blushing, Feilai flipped onto Qinzhao's body. Okay. Del and Risvar had heard the news from somewhere, and they had brought their whole family over in a hurry. The three dads and their daughter complex met. The three of them were 100% daughter con. There were too many topics about his daughter. Faith, Vera, and Ronnie surrounded little Zherlin like curious babies. Dad, Zherlin is so small. Dad, was I like this when I was young? Jerlin also looked at the girls around the cradle curiously. She reached out to touch them. Chin, I didn't expect you to have a daughter too. What's so strange about that? Can't I have a daughter? Qin Zhao rolled his eyes. That's not what I mean, Del said. I just feel like my superiority is gone. Qin Zhao didn't understand before, but now he did. It was the feeling of superiority after having a daughter. Ever since he had a daughter, Qin Zhao also had that strange feeling of superiority. It was like he wanted to tell the world that this little girl was his daughter. It was such a strange feeling. He felt like his daughter was the most perfect gift in the world. Risfar was much more serious, and told Qin Zhao many things to take note of. Qin Zhao was a doctor, but when it came to daughters, he really couldn't compare to Risfar and Del. Jerlin didn't know how to speak, but she could already recognize the three girls. Seeing that they were riding animals, she wanted to ride them too. But right now, Jerlin couldn't even crawl on the ground, let alone ride them. The only suitable one was Abito's. His back was the widest and most suitable for Jerlin to lie on. Moreover, Abito's didn't have a cold body like normal cold-blooded animals. His body was warm. Little Jerlin soon fell asleep on Abito's back. Del and Risfar left with Rani, Vera, and Faith. Abito's came to Qin Zhao's side. Ada, father said he wants to invite you to hell tonight. Tonight? Okay. To be honest, Qin Zhao was used to looking at Jerlin. He couldn't bear to let her leave his sight. But Beelzebub Zophie probably had something important to tell him. When Feilai came back, Qin Zhao told her something. Feilai was already used to it. Qin Zhao had to go to hell every once in a while. Chapter 797. Qin Zhao appeared in hell again. But this time, he didn't appear in Obsidian Castle. Instead, he appeared in the sky. Qin Zhao remembered that when Samuel summoned him to hell last time, he'd also appeared in hell. It was the same this time. He had no choice but to use the dark serum to create a pair of wings and glide to the ground. What the hell is this place? Below him was a muddy swamp. In the distance was an erupting volcano. The smell of sulfur filled the air. A demon flew over Qin Zhao's head, but he turned back after a while. Strange? Human soul? Living? The demon wasn't tall. At least, Qin Zhao was used to seeing tall and burly demons. The demon before him looked a bit fresh. He didn't have red lips and white teeth, but he had the standard human features. There was a pair of demon horns on his head and a pair of demon wings on his back. In Qin Zhao's eyes, this demon was dressed well. He even looked a bit handsome. Qin Zhao immediately summoned the mouth of gluttony and the eye of power. He took out the bronze sword and the dark serum. What are you doing? Are you going to fight me? Why do you have the subordinate powers of Beelzebub and Samuel? Aren't you going to attack me? Qin Zhao was stunned. Why would I attack you? No, shouldn't demons attack people when they see them? In this world where the strong prey on the weak, the winner is king and the loser is a bandit. The first thing they say is, submit to me or die. Is this your first time in hell? The demon asked. No, I've been here a few times, but I don't know why my friend summoned me here. Your friend summoned you? Yes, Lord Zophie Beelzebub. I think I know why you're here. Why? Satan's wrath is spreading, causing the entire hell to be filled with a chaotic aura. That's why there's a deviation in the summoning. Because of this power, many evil spirits escape to the human world. What's Satan's wrath? Qin Zhao asked, confused. The demon pointed at the volcano in the distance. That thing erupts. Anyway, every time it erupts, the entire hell is in chaos. Calamity runs rampant and the aura is chaotic. Volcano eruptions have nothing to do with Satan. I think so too. The devil nodded. Qin Zhao looked at the demon before him. You're not Satan, right? I just killed a bunch of Satan's followers in the human world a few days ago. Why do you think I'm Satan? Because among the demons I know, apart from Samuel, the other demons have to add your majesty when addressing Satan. Qin Zhao looked at the handsome demon before him. Also, apart from not having 3 pairs of wings, your aura is quite similar to Satan's. Haha. I'm not Satan. The handsome demon laughed. You scared me to death. What's your name? Asked the handsome demon. Why are you asking for my name? Just call me human, and I'll call you handsome. Qin Zhao didn't dare to let a demon know his name. This was because there were many spells that, as long as one knew the name of the spell, one could fall for it even if they were thousands of miles away. Why did you call me handsome? Reason? There's a saying in Chinese, you don't need to know each other. It's fate that we meet. There's no need to care about names or family backgrounds. Fine. The handsome demon shrugged casually. Are you going to find your friend now? Where am I now? Do you know how to get to Obsidian City? I don't. The handsome demon shook his head. This is your territory? Sort of. The handsome demon nodded. Do you have any fun places here? I don't know what you humans define as fun. Whatever. Let's just walk around. Oh, there's a demonic crystal refining furnace over there. Do you want to go there and take a look? Demonic crystal refining furnace? Can this thing be refined? Qin Zhao asked curiously. I always thought that demonic crystals were part of ores. A small portion of demonic crystals are dug out from ores, but most are extracted from souls and then refined into demonic crystals through a complicated process. The handsome demon said. The handsome guy said. You humans are complicated existences. There is good and evil in your souls, and souls that fall into hell will turn into evil spirits without exception. But even evil spirits still have a good side. Good is extracted from the soul, then refined, and finally obtain demonic crystals. It's that complicated? Do you want to take a look? The handsome demon asked. Sure, but it's empty here. How long will it take to get to the processing plant? Right here. The handsome demon reached out and pressed in the air before him. As if the fog had dissipated, a huge building that reached the clouds appeared. It was much larger than Obsidian Castle. What spell is this? It's just a normal camouflage spell. Qin Zhao looked at the door before him. It was at least 10 meters tall. He went up and pushed it. It's so heavy. Open it. Fuck, how heavy is this door? He couldn't even push the door with his own strength. The handsome demon patted Qin Zhao's back. Let me. Qin Zhao felt something strange in his body, but he couldn't tell what it was. It was neither uncomfortable nor uncomfortable. The handsome demon walked up and pushed the door open with one hand. Handsome, I think you should change this in the future. Don't you think it's weird to open such a big door every time you go in and out? It's to prevent outsiders from entering. You should be really powerful. You can just set a password. Do you know passwords? Like Open Sesame or something. The handsome demon looked at the door and thought for a moment. Let me think about it. Qin Zhao followed him into the refining furnace. It was very spacious inside and there were many demons working inside. When the demons saw the handsome demon, they immediately went up and bowed. The handsome demon waved his hand. Don't mind me. Go back to work. Qin Zhao looked at him. You're Satan, right? Why do you ask? Isn't it usually like this? They're afraid that their subordinates will reveal their identity, so they say something to shut their mouths. What you said before makes sense. Why must we know each other when we meet? The handsome demon said. You're a human, and I'm a handsome demon. Fine. The internal structure of the refining furnace was very complicated. Qin Zhao saw a demon dragging hundreds of evil spirits past them. Chapter 798. The handsome demon brought Qin Zhao to a place that looked like a farm. There were tens of thousands of evil spirits inside. They devoured each other inside. It was like a slaughterhouse. Even someone like Qin Zhao, who had seen much of the world, could not help but feel chills down his spine at the sight. What's this for? This is to make perfect demonic crystals. Normal evil spirits can only produce normal demonic crystals. Only these kinds of evil spirits can produce perfect demonic crystals. How strong are these evil spirits? Chen Zhao asked curiously. About the same as you right now. If you want to destroy evil spirits of this level, it'll be quite difficult. The handsome demon looked at Chen Zhao. What? Do you want one? I'll give you one. I'll trade with perfect crystals, Chen Zhao said. Oh, do you want perfect angelic crystals or demonic crystals? Do you still have angelic crystals? Even I don't have many. I have quite a few. Chen Zhao was about to take them out when he asked. Will it hurt you? It's fine. Take them out. Chen Zhao took out a perfect angelic crystal. The handsome demon took it. Perfect. This angelic crystal is so beautiful. The handsome demon held the perfect angelic crystal and drew magic patterns in the air with his finger. The perfect angelic crystal started cracking. Then, like an egg, a small angel flew out of the perfect angelic crystal. More accurately, it was a little elf. Radiating holy light, it coiled around the handsome demon. The elf was only the size of 3 fingers. It had a pair of holy wings on its back. This angelic crystal is actually an egg? Chen Zhao asked in surprise. The handsome demon shook his head. That's not the case. It's because of my power that this holy light soul essence was born. Chen Zhao reached out to grab the holy light essence, but it disappeared in a flash. The next moment, the holy light spirit essence appeared beside the handsome demon and stuck its tongue out at Chen Zhao. What's the use of this? To you humans, it's a guardian angel. Guardian angel? Are you the only one who can hatch it? The handsome demon nodded. Apart from me, other demons or humans can't hatch it. The handsome demon looked at Chen Zhao. But you can't have a guardian angel either. Why? I am a very kind person. You have the power of a demon on you. The guardian angel can't protect you. In that case, those without demonic energy can obtain protection, right? Sure. I don't want that evil spirit anymore. Can you help me hatch another guardian angel? No, it's 2. Chen Zhao took out 2 perfect crystals. The handsome demon sucked in a breath of cold air. Where did you get this angelic crystal? Even I can sense the power of holy light contained within it. Help me hatch them into guardian angels. Oh, by the way, teach me how to let my family receive the protection of guardian angels. I can't make the guardian angel choose who to protect, the handsome demon said. However, I can give you a guardian devil. Its purpose is similar to that of a guardian angel. Guardian angels and guardian demons sound like 2 different species. Are you sure their uses are similar to guardian angels? You want to protect your family, right? That's right. Chen Zhao wanted to get one for Fei Lai and Zherlin. Guardian angels can resist diseases, bad luck, and curses. Guardian devils can devour evil spirits, detect evil intentions, and lend power. Chen Zhao thought about it. A guardian devil seemed to be suitable for Fei Lai, while a guardian angel was suitable for Zherlin. What price do I have to pay? Leave one of the 2 angelic crystals for me. Deal. Chen Zhao agreed quickly. Do you still want that evil spirit? Do you have a way for me to control it? No. What do you want it for? I have a bunch of useless subordinates. I plan to give it to them for training, but an evil spirit of this level probably isn't for training. It's for killing them. I see. The handsome demon thought about it. I can help you make a Hellion Tower, but you'll have to pay a greater price. What's a Hellion Tower? It's for training. It's absolutely safe. Chen Zhao's heart jumped. What price? You can give me more angelic crystals until I think it's enough. Chen Zhao thought about it and asked. Can I use demonic crystals? I'm curious how a living person can have so many angelic crystals and demonic crystals. Everyone has their own secrets, right? There's no need to get to the bottom of it. Fine. Chen Zhao took out a large number of demonic crystals and angelic crystals. Is this enough? The handsome demon took a third of them and didn't take any more. I'll give you the Hellion Tower in a month. Wait, a month? Of course. The Hellion Tower is very complicated. Even I need a month to make it. But I was summoned to hell. I'll only be there for 24 hours. Then we'll talk about it the next time you come. Let's exchange a keepsake. Keepsake? Qin Zhao searched his body and only found a lucky coin. Is this okay? Lucky gold coin? I'll give you a lucky gold coin too. The handsome demon snapped his fingers and a lucky coin appeared in his hand. This lucky coin can help you defeat most enemies, even those far stronger than you, but it can only be used once. Qin Zhao took the coin and looked at it. Then he shook his head. I still want a normal lucky coin. It's more valuable to me. I don't understand you humans. Why would you make such a choice? Is my coin not as good as a normal lucky coin? Our needs are different. I don't have many enemies in the human world. Fine, I'll redefine this coin. It's no longer a lucky coin but a wishing coin. It can give you what you want the most, but it can only be used once. Can I have anything I want? You don't have to make a wish for wealth. The only thing this coin can't do is give you wealth. Also, it can't grant all wishes. Even I can't grant all wishes. Why? Because wealth has a number. Giving you 1 coin is wealth. Giving you 100 coins is also wealth. Wishes that exceed the ability of this wishing coin can't be granted. Chapter 799. Qin Zhao and the handsome guy sat at the top of the smelting furnace. It was almost 10,000 meters above the ground. It was even higher than the castle Samuel had given Qin Zhao. Do you drink? Qin Zhao handed the guy a bottle of wine. It's really good wine. Even hell doesn't have such good wine. The guy gazed into the distance. Qin Zhao didn't know if it was because of the wine that he'd become sentimental. You already have the answer, right? What? You told me your identity? Qin Zhao asked. Just like you said, we don't need to know each other. It's been a long time since I've chatted and drank with a good friend. Have you read The Deer and the Cauldron? What's that? Whatever. If you have the chance, catch an evil spirit from China. Maybe you'll get the answer. After being in a high position for a long time, one would inevitably feel lonely. It didn't matter if one was at the peak of power or the peak of power. It was the same principle. Of course, if Qin Zhao had the chance, he wanted to taste this feeling of loneliness too. Qin Zhao and the handsome guy exchanged toasts, drinking one glass after another. By the way, can you go to the human world? No. The guy shook his head. I can't even send a projection into the human world. Then what are those believers in the human world? They're just humans who use my name, the guy said. But they have to pay a price. Who's stronger, you or the other demon kings? Qin Zhao asked curiously. I'm the nominal ruler of hell and the leader of the 7 demon kings. I've never fought any of them, but I'm sure that I'm stronger than any of them. Are you much stronger than them? I don't know. The guy shook his head. I'm born with them. I'm the ruler of this place. Our power is natural. What about the other demon kings? For example, the king of ice and snow. Aside from the 7 demon kings, the other demon kings that appeared later were actually our descendants. All the fiends in the infernal realm began with the 7 of us. Qin Zhao's phone suddenly rang. He glanced at the time. My time is up. I should go back to the human world. Goodbye. Goodbye. Qin Zhao returned to his home in the human world. When he reached his bedroom, he saw Fei Lai hugging little Jerlin. However, Fei Lai seemed to be sobbing. Qin Zhao entered the bedroom. Fei Lai, what's wrong? No. I'm fine. Qin, why didn't I hear you coming back? Fei Lai, what happened? I'm really fine. I'm really fine. Fei Lai still had tears on her face. Fei Lai, tell me, what happened? Were you bullied? No. Fei Lai pursed her lips. Who's sick? Who's sick? Qin Zhao thought, it must be Loran. It must be Loran. Qin Zhao. I. 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 Chen. I might not be able to give birth to your child. Huh? Qin Zhao was dumbfounded. What did this mean? Fei Lai. Fei Lai was. Zhao was. Fei Lai, her. Zhao. She was. Zhao. Zhao was. Qin Zhao, mean Zhao. Was Qin Zhao. Zhao. Was a doctor too. He could understand what Fei Lai couldn't explain. Although it didn't have much of an impact on health, it did have a great impact on fertility. Is it a small amount? Qin Zhao asked. Or no ovulation at all? Maybe, no ovulation at all. Qin Zhao hugged Fei Lai gently. It's fine. I won't have a child. Anyway, Zhilin was enough. He didn't have the thought of having a son to carry on the family line. Qin, I want a child. I want a child. You're so good at medicine. Help me. Fei Lai had never asked Qin Zhao for anything. This was the only time she'd made a request. But this time, Qin Zhao was really stumped. Qin Zhao was confident that he could treat most diseases. However, the only time he'd come in contact with gynecology was when he'd helped a demon give birth. He really couldn't treat physiological ovulation disorder. Fei Lai burst into tears. Even little Zhilin in her arms began to cry. Fei Lai, wait. I'll call Far. Qin Zhao needed to confirm that Fei Lai wasn't mistaken. Okay. Maybe I'm mistaken. Fei Lai nodded. She still had some hope that she had made a mistake. Qin Zhao picked up the phone and walked out of the bedroom. Far, did Fei Lai go to your hospital for a checkup 2 days ago? Chen, do you know? Yes. Fei Lai cried really hard. I want to know the details. Fei Lai doesn't ovulate. Chen, don't hurt Fei Lai. Qin Zhao felt helpless. If it was just ovulation, he and Fei Lai could do a test tube test. But if she couldn't even ovulate, Qin Zhao really didn't know what to do. Can the current medical technology cure Fei Lai's illness? It's not a disease. It's a physiological abnormality. Far said. For said. Even you are asking this question. Do you think anyone else has a solution? Qin Zhao returned to the bedroom. Fei Lai had started crying again. Fei Lai, can we stop crying? Chen. Is there nothing you can do? Qin Zhao chuckled. No, Far, and I will do some research. You're lying. Fei Lai stared at Qin Zhao. Will I never be able to have children? Fei Lai, trust me. Far, and I will think of something. Far specializes in oncology. Qin Zhao felt helpless. Fei Lai was really hard to deal with. Qin Zhao suddenly hated himself. Why hadn't he paid attention to this disease before? Now that Fei Lai was crying, he couldn't do anything. The next day, Fei Lai got sick. She had a high fever. Qin Zhao hurried to reduce the fever. It wasn't too serious. But Qin Zhao was really worried about Fei Lai's mental health. Fei Lai, I have a way to make you pregnant, Qin Zhao said, hugging Fei Lai. Qin, you don't have to comfort me. I've already thought it through. I can't be a real mother, but we already have Zhilin. I'll be the best mother. Fei Lai, I'm serious. I really have a way. Fei Lai looked up at Qin Zhao. Qin, I don't want to hope for disappointment. I'm serious. I have a way. Qin Zhao took out the wishing coin. Hold it. This is? Say your wish. What? Fei Lai didn't understand. Say your wish. Chapter 800. The wishing coin in Qin Zhao's hand suddenly dissipated like powder. Fei Lai lifted her head, disbelief in her eyes. Chen! This is… Qin Zhao caressed Fei Lai's hair. Have you heard of Aladdin's magic lamp? Pfft! Fei Lai's tears turned into laughter. It was her first time losing control like this. Tears and snot flew everywhere. We need to hurry and have a baby. Qin Zhao and Fei Lai went through the door and started doing shameful things. After a while, Qin Zhao took out a bottle. Fei Lai, I'll give you something. What's in the bottle? It's black. Qin Zhao did not answer Fei Lai's question. Instead, he opened the bottle. The black smoke floated out and gathered above Fei Lai's head. What's this? Fei Lai poked it. It can protect you. Fei Lai had always known that Qin Zhao cared for her to the extreme. Every time Qin Zhao went far away, he'd let her bring her pet. She didn't know what the black thing was either. But she believed that since Qin Zhao said it could protect her, it definitely could. Qin, I heard you got a daughter. Bring her over. I want to be her godfather, Stephen said. I'm not a believer. Qin Zhao rolled his eyes. It's not like you have to be a believer to have a godfather. It's too much of a loss for my daughter to be your goddaughter. Your daughter can be my godfather too. Fuck, my daughter's already in her 40s. Are you sure you want to be her godfather? Fine, pretend I didn't say anything, Qin Zhao answered awkwardly. By the way, my movie celebration party is tomorrow night. You have to be there, Stephen said in a tough tone. Okay. Bring my goddaughter. After hanging up, Qin Zhao carried Zherlin out the door. He didn't buy Stephen a present last time. He still had to find a suitable one. As for the pocket watch, Qin Zhao wanted to study it more to find out what was special about it. Little Zherlin was surrounded by a white dot of light. This was the guardian angel surrounding little Zherlin. Wherever Zherlin went, the guardian angel would follow. However, Zherlin didn't seem to see the guardian angel herself. Or perhaps she was too young to realize the existence of guardian angels. She was obviously more interested in the amber. Qin Zhao realized that Zherlin had grown teeth. Although it had only been close to a month, little Zherlin had actually grown her first tooth. Generally speaking, babies only grow teeth at around 6 months of age. But little Zherlin's teeth grew very fast. It was only in the past 2 days that a small white spot appeared on the gums of his front teeth. There were already some bite marks on the lake. Qin Zhao followed her and bit as much as he wanted. Qin Zhao parked his car in a gift shop. He wanted to look around and see if there were any suitable gifts. Don't think that China is the only country that has antiques. But as soon as the car stopped, an uninvited guest appeared in front of the car. Qin Zhao's eyes widened. Usually, there was only one person who would cause trouble when Qin Zhao stopped his car, Sharon. Sharon, I didn't park illegally or run a red light. I didn't break any traffic rules. Sharon looked at him. You're driving dangerously. What? I'm driving dangerously? Qin Zhao's eyes widened. When did I drive dangerously? Where did you put her? Sharon pointed at little Zherlin in Qin Zhao's arms. The front passenger seat, of course. I have a baby seat. Don't you know that babies under 6 months can't sit in baby seats? Sharon asked, looking at Qin Zhao. Qin Zhao's eyes almost popped out. There's such a rule? Of course. Baby seats are for babies over 6 months. Whose child is this? Mine. It's my daughter. Qin Zhao was helpless. He would admit defeat for now. Once bitten, twice shy. He knew that Zherlin couldn't sit in the baby seat for now. You have a daughter? Sharon also looked at Qin Zhao in surprise. Are you disappointed that I have a daughter? Do you have to provoke the police every time? Give me the ticket. Whatever, I'll let you go this time. Oh my God! Is tomorrow the end of the world? Qin Zhao's expression was exaggerated. Sharon's face darkened. Are you sure you want me to give you a ticket? Ha! I'm joking. Sharon glanced at the gift shop. What do you want to buy? I'm not sure, Qin Zhao said. I want to give an old guy a gift. Let's pick. The two walked into the gift shop. Just then, the guardian angel landed on a painting. Yeah. Little Zherlin spread her arms, wanting to take the painting. Baby, do you want this? It was a huge oil painting that looked a bit old. It was a goddess, or more accurately, Venus, the embodiment of love and beauty. There were also a few little angels dressing Venus up. This dressing Venus is a fake, Sharon said. The real one is in New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art. Why did Qin Zhao care so much? He didn't know how to appreciate art at all. To him, apart from the difference in price, there was no difference between the real and the fake. But since Jerlin liked the painting, he would buy it. "Boss, how much is this painting?" The boss at the cashier didn't even look up. He casually said, $80. "Pack it for me." Did you know that this painting was originally the work of the 18th century French painter François Boucher? At the same time, it is also an erotic painting of the royal family. If you want to hang this painting in your home, it is not suitable, especially in the home of children. Chen Zhao thought about it and realized that it made sense. It was indeed not suitable for his daughter to look at this erotic painting every day. Then he would give it to Stephen. The perverted old man probably liked these things. As for whether it was real or not, the old man wasn't a scholar. Chen Zhao had been to Stephen's house twice, but he didn't see any art there. All he hung were movie posters that he had shot himself. It was clear that not only was Stephen not a scholar, but he was also a narcissist. After admiring the painting for a while, Chen Zhao lost interest. Chen Zhao never believed that these works of art could be worth an astronomical amount. Of course, it might be because he didn't understand art. "Little guy, this is for you." Sharon took out a strange wooden sculpture. "What's this for? It looks so ugly." Chapter 801. Wood Spirit? It's not related to witchcraft, is it? Chen Zhao didn't want his daughter to come into contact with these things. He knew that witchcraft and magic really existed in this world. And uncertain magic could bring about unpredictable dangers. That Native American tribe won't harm people. They worship nature and the holy tree, so they always make some handicrafts related to the holy tree. It's also a blessing. They don't have any evil intentions. Just then, the guardian angel landed on the wood spirit in Sharon's hand again. Since the guardian angel didn't sense any danger, it should be harmless. Chen Zhao helped Jerlin take the wood spirit. Jerlin immediately stuffed it into her mouth and bit. "Daughter, you're not a dog. Don't put everything in your mouth and bite first." Chen Zhao tried to pull the wood spirit, but as soon as he pulled the wood away, Jerlin pouted and her eyes became misty. Chen Zhao hurriedly returned the wood spirit to Jerlin. "As long as you're happy." After leaving the gift shop, Sharon followed. "Where are you going?" "Home." "How are you going back? Are you letting your daughter sit in the baby seat again?" I'll carry her," Sharon said. "Fine." Since the baby seat was designed this way, there had to be a reason for it. Since it wasn't safe, then he wouldn't do it. Chen Zhao got up. He didn't have any bad feelings towards Sharon. It was just a habit for them to argue when they met. Perhaps it was because they were familiar with each other. Sharon was also used to finding trouble with Chen Zhao. Sharon had seen Chen Zhao's pets before. However, when Chen Zhao sent Jerlin home and saw the whole family, he was still shocked. "Fei Lai, it's Stephen's movie celebration party tonight. Are you going?" "No," Fei Lai said. "I want to rest at home tonight." "Okay." Chen Zhao hung up. Seeing that it was getting late, Chen Zhao decided to go give Stephen his present. Then he would congratulate him and run away. That was Chen Zhao's plan. Learning from last time, Chen Zhao didn't drive himself this time. Instead, he called a car. Stephen's movie celebration party was at the Regal Hotel. The name sounded very vulgar. But this was the most luxurious hotel in Los Angeles. Stephen was incredible this time. Sea Patrol had been in theaters for more than 2 months, and the global box office had reached $3.5 billion. The North American market alone had exceeded $2 billion. The original highest box office in North America was $936 million for Star Wars, but Stephen had doubled the record this time. Stephen's record was known as a record that could never be broken. The current Stephen had been deified in the film industry. Of course, Angry Sea Detective was also deified. Fury Sea Detective broke almost all the records that could be broken. When Chen Zhao entered the banquet hall, there was still a line outside. Chen Zhao didn't have an invitation. He found a seat and called Stephen. "Stephen, you asked me to come to your celebration party, But you didn't give me an invitation. You went to the celebration party? Fuck, I even went to your house to pick you up, and you actually went there yourself. Steven scolded. Why did you go there so early? Don't be so long-winded. Tell the guard to let me in. Okay, I'll call the person in charge. After hanging up, Qin Zhao waited for the person in charge to come over. Just then, an Asian man sat beside Qin Zhao. He looked to be in his 30s. Hello? The Asian greeted Qin Zhao. Hello, are you from China? Qin Zhao could tell from the accent that he was Chinese. You're also from China? The man was surprised. You're not a reporter, right? The man looked Qin Zhao up and down. Since he was carrying a child, he definitely wasn't a reporter. But he probably wasn't a domestic star either. After all, he was in the entertainment circle. He didn't dare to say that he knew all the domestic stars. At least he would have a good impression of them. If they were domestic stars, he would at least know their names and looks. No, I'm just here to get a meal. You're really something. You came to the director's celebration party to get a meal, the man said, smiling. I'm Li He. What's your name, brother? Qin Zhao. Why didn't you line up? Li He asked. I don't have an invitation. You came to get a meal without an invitation? You're really something. I know someone here. I'm waiting for the person inside to bring me in. Li He shook his head, smiling. This isn't our country. Don't embarrass our country. I won't. Don't worry. Even though I'm out of the country, I always think of our country's face. Qin Zhao wasn't angry at Li He's words. Li He probably thought that he was unemployed. Are you a domestic star? How long have you been out? Almost a year, Qin Zhao said. He'd left the country in October last year. It had been 11 months now. No wonder. I only became popular this year. It's normal that you don't know me. Oh, a big star. How about an autograph? You really want it? Yes. I'll sell your autograph when I run out of money. Just then, a short and fat man ran over to Li He. Li He, don't just sit here. Hurry up and line up. It took me a lot of effort to get an invitation. Hurry up and go in. It seemed that he was Li He's manager. He turned to look at Qin Zhao. Li He, don't talk to strangers. You're a star, after all. Li He glanced back at Qin Zhao and shrugged helplessly. Qin Zhao waved his hand and Li He went to line up. Qin Zhao waited in his seat for more than 20 minutes before a man with a mustache found him. Hello, are you Mr. Qin? That's me. Sorry I'm late. There were too many things in the banquet hall, so I was late. I'm really sorry. It's okay. Can I go in now? Of course, I'll bring you in. Qin Zhao entered the banquet hall. There were already many people inside. They were gathered in twos and threes, chatting. Qin Zhao was just about to find a place to sit when Li He came over again. Brother, you really snuck in. Of course. How dare I come here if I can't? If you're so capable, why are you carrying a baby? Li He was also a chatterbox who couldn't stop talking. I heard that there are many female stars here. I thought that they should like cute ones, so I carried my baby here to see if I could trick a few female stars to warm my bed. Chapter 802. Li He saw that Qin Zhao was really here to eat and drink. Sitting beside him, Qin Zhao's mouth didn't stop. However, Li He had been mediocre and unknown for 30 years. In the past, when he was poorest, he was about the same as Qin Zhao. It wasn't like he had never gone to someone's wedding to eat and drink for free. Last year, he had a supporting role in a movie that made him famous. This year, there was another movie with a small investment that made him $1 billion in the box office for no reason. In the end, he became a superstar that everyone knew. The two chatted as they ate. Jerlin couldn't eat too much. Qin Zhao could only peel 2 grapes for Jerlin to suck. Just then, Li He's agent came over again. Unlike other agents, he was a foil to the star. Li He's agent was so forceful that it was as if Li He was the foil. Li He's agent raised his voice. Li He, what are you doing here? I spent money to get you here, not to let you eat and drink here. Have you forgotten what you came here for? Brother Bao, I don't know anyone here, and they're all foreigners. Who do you want me to get close to? Li He asked with a depressed expression. Brother Bao didn't care so much. He scolded. Take the initiative to greet others. Look at that guy over there. He's a Hollywood A-list star. Even if you don't become friends with him, just greeting him and taking a photo with him will make the headlines in the local media. Also, is that girl? She had an outstanding performance in Director Stevens' movie. I think, what's her name again, Paris? Li He reminded. Oh, right, Paris. Brother Bao nodded. Don't waste time with irrelevant people here. Brother, I have something to do. I'm leaving now. Li He's agent was a bit snobbish, but Chen Zhao had a good impression of Li He. He was quite chatty. It was nice to meet a fellow countryman overseas. Li He was holding a wine glass. He looked good and was dressed well. He walked directly towards Paris. Hi, you're Ms. Paris, right? Can I get to know you? To be honest, Li He's English wasn't that good. His pronunciation was too local. Paris turned around and her eyes lit up when she saw the black hair and black eyes, but she quickly recognized them. Li He was not who she thought he was. Ever since she participated in Stevens' movie, Paris had gone from a car salesman to a C-list celebrity. Moreover, her management company had recently found quite a few roles for her. It could be said that there were endless invitations. The agency had also been hyping her up, comparing her to Vincent. They were all set up as inspirational examples of salted fish turning over a new leaf. She could even be the female lead in a small investment movie. Of course, her quality of life had also improved by leaps and bounds. Her ex-boyfriend, the gigolo Luo Ke, came looking for her again. He hoped that he could get back together with her. Unfortunately, Paris didn't care about Luo Ke at all. Paris even doubted her own taste in the past. Why would she choose someone like Rocco to be her boyfriend? Hello? Paris said with a sweet smile. He had to admit that Paris was very beautiful. Even in Hollywood, where beauties were as common as clouds, she was a top-notch beauty. Her tall figure, exquisite makeup, and open-necked gown all accentuated her beauty. She didn't know how many men had taken the initiative to talk to her. Of course, even if she didn't know him, even if he was an Asian. But to be able to enter this place, he must have some background. Paris knew that her foundation was still very weak. She wouldn't offend anyone easily. Moreover, China was now the second largest movie market. China's movie market already had a great influence on Hollywood. If one didn't have a good reputation in China, one wouldn't be able to get a Hollywood blockbuster. After all, Hollywood's beyond A-list movies would all be shown in China. If the movie couldn't be shown in China because of the reputation of some actors, it would be a great loss. For example, 10 years ago, before the Olympics, a certain Hollywood A-list female star could only shoot an independent film because of her gossiping. Now, Hollywood had obviously learned its lesson and didn't talk about politics. When facing Asians, especially Chinese, they would show their generosity and friendliness. Of course, Paris had no right to put on airs in front of others. I'm from China. I'm Li, an actor. Nice to meet you. Hello, I'm Paris. I like China a lot. I also have a friend from China. Paris even said hello in Chinese, although her pronunciation wasn't very good. Can we take a photo together? Of course. Paris nodded with a smile. Li He then said, If you go to China in the future, remember to find me. I can be a good host. No problem. If I go to China, I'll find you, Li. Can I post this photo on social media? Li He asked. Of course. Oh, help me send my regards to my friends in China. This was a good way to increase her reputation in China. Since Li He was willing to talk to her, she obviously wouldn't reject him. Nowadays, Hollywood's criteria for casting were either famous and reputable actors in China or pure newcomers. While Paris and Li He were chatting happily, Paris suddenly glanced at a corner in the distance. Paris's eyes lit up. Chen Zhao. Paris was overjoyed. To be honest, her current status was closely related to Qin Zhao. She knew very well about Qin Zhao and Stephen's relationship. Even now, one word from Qin Zhao could turn her back to her original state. She and James were in a stable relationship now. James had warned her not to offend Qin Zhao in any way. Don't offend Qin Zhao in any way. Otherwise, their relationship will be over. Paris had thought that James would be able to straighten his back now that he was a real director. However, James told her that the reason he could become the director of the new movie that PLM invested in was all because of Qin Zhao's help. This made Paris even more respectful of Qin Zhao. Even a director like James could be promoted with one word from Qin Zhao. Not to mention that she, a C-list actress, could also be promoted with one word from Qin Zhao. Li, excuse me. I saw a friend and I'm going to say hi. Although Qin Zhao was sitting alone in the corner, Paris didn't dare to offend him like before. Chapter 803. Li He watched as Paris walked toward the corner. Huh! Li He realized that Paris was walking toward Qin Zhao. There was only Qin Zhao and the baby in his arms in that direction. Paris walked up to Qin Zhao. Ah, so cute. Mr. Chen, is she your child? Yes, she's my daughter. Qin Zhao nodded. She's so cute. I want to have a girl. Even though she knew it was impossible with Qin Zhao, she still couldn't help but make sexual hints in her words. Does she have a godparent? Paris asked. She clearly wanted to get closer to Qin Zhao. Stephen said he wants to be her godfather. Qin Zhao didn't reject her directly. But this was enough to reject someone. A godfather was the closest person to a child apart from their parents. Either they were highly respected, or they had a high seniority, and they had a close relationship. Stephen was the respectable type. He was also close to Qin Zhao. If Paris and Fei Lai were close, then she had a chance to become Zherlin's godmother. But Paris wasn't close to Qin Zhao, let alone Fei Lai. Plus, Stephen was Zherlin's godfather. If she dared to accept the godmother status, she probably wouldn't be able to survive in the entertainment industry. It didn't mean that godparents had to be of equal status. If they weren't from the same circle, for example, if the godmother was just an ordinary person, no one would say anything. But since they were both from Hollywood, it was different. In the distance, Li He was somewhat stunned. Could bringing a baby to a banquet like this really attract female stars? Were all Hollywood actresses so loving? Should he carry a baby next time? Seeing that Qin Zhao and Paris were chatting happily, Li He couldn't help but be envious. Just then, Li He's manager, Brother Bao, walked over. Li He, didn't you have a good chat with Paris just now? Why aren't you talking now? Where's she? Oh, over there. Why is she there? They know each other? Brother Bao was confused. Do you know who that person is? He's here to eat and drink. He probably knows the security guards or someone here. Li He wasn't sure. He felt that Qin Zhao wasn't a guest here. After all, this was Stephen's movie celebration banquet. It was impossible to attend this kind of banquet with a child. At that moment, Li He saw a familiar figure in the crowd. Shinke? Why is she here? Li He and Shinke had never worked together in a movie before, but they should have met on a show. They had also played games together before, so Li He and Shinke were quite familiar with each other. Shinke. Hey, Brother Li, why are you here? Shinke was also very surprised to meet Li He here. Li He smiled bitterly and said, I'm here to gain experience. Shinke also understood and said with a smile, Same as me. Although they were famous in the country, they were not in the top tier. Therefore, he wanted to gain some experience abroad and add an international halo to his head. By the way, what have you been busy with recently? Li He asked. The company is running. I accepted a supporting role in a movie here. Shinke replied. You're good. Which company are you from? Palm. Damn, are you going to soar into the sky in one go? PLM is a big company. Hollywood had very strong regional protection. Generally speaking, if it was not a joint venture film, it was very difficult for people of color to get the main roles. Most of the time, they were just minor characters. They just had to show their faces in the movie, and then claim that they were the main creator of the movie. You're thinking too much. It's just a supporting role, and it's not a big production. Animal's Supermarket only had an investment budget of $60 million. It was considered above average, but there was still a big gap between it and an A-level production or beyond A. Of course, she also felt that James had increased her screen time recently. What's the name of the movie you're shooting? Animal Supermarket. The director is over there, Chinku said, pointing at James, who was not far away. I don't remember this director. He used to be Mr. Stevens' assistant director, Chinku said. Chinku said, that's his name. Although this is his first time as an executive director, he has been with Mr. Steven for more than 10 years. He is almost Mr. Stevens' personal director. Do you want me to introduce him to you? This kind of banquet was actually a large social gathering. It was also the main place to expand one's social network. Therefore, it was very normal to introduce one's friends to the other party. Sure. Lee Hee's interest was instantly piqued. Now, anyone who had anything to do with Steven would become valuable. Even a director like James. Lee Hee and Chinku were about to walk toward James. However, James suddenly said goodbye to the people around him and walked in another direction. Hi, Chen. James walked up to Qin Zhao. Is this your daughter? I'm here to get some food. I'm indeed not suitable for this kind of gathering. I don't even know anyone. If you don't come and greet me, I won't even know who to talk to. Do you want me to introduce some people to you? James asked, smiling. He also knew that Qin Zhao was not in the industry and was not interested in these things. If not for Steven's invitation, Qin Zhao probably would not even come. Let me hug you. James opened his arms. But Jerlin turned her head away in disgust, her brows furrowed. Ha ha! My daughter doesn't like you hugging her. You must have played with some actress. Even my daughter doesn't like you. Fine. I'm so sad. I'm leaving. James left in anger. In the distance, Chinku and Lee Hee were both shocked. Fuck. Is hugging a child that useful at these kinds of gatherings? It's him? Chinku frowned at Qin Zhao. What? Do you know him? My cousin. Chinku did not have a good impression of this cousin at all. Your cousin? Lee Hee was shocked. He's actually your cousin. What's so strange about that? Your cousin knows Director James? Yes. Your cousin is also in the entertainment industry? No, he's a doctor. Lee Hee was somewhat shocked. A doctor actually knew Director James. Just then, Brother Bao came again. Lee Hee. Hey, Miss Chen, you're here too. Brother Bao looked at Chinku in surprise. Brother Bao. Chinku nodded slightly. Brother Bao was a rather famous manager in the entertainment industry. He had managed many famous artists. Agents like Brother Bao, who had a wide network of contacts, were also relatively strong, especially when facing a newly famous artist like Lee Hee. Chapter 804. Go. What are you waiting for? Brother Bao urged. But just then, Yafan and Lucy walked toward Qin Zhao. Lee Hee and Brother Bao's expressions froze. Yafan and Lucy were true A-listers in Hollywood. Through Stevens' Angry Sea Detective, they were now well-known actresses. The two stars were chatting happily with Qin Zhao. Can you really do whatever you want with a kid? Lee Hee murmured. Brother Bao's eyes flashed. He regretted it. If he knew this would happen, he wouldn't have let Lee Hee leave Qin Zhao's side. That way, when Yafan and Lucy went over, Lee Hee could get to know them. Chinku looked at Qin Zhao. She knew that Qin Zhao knew Yafan. But it seemed that he was close to Lucy too. They seemed to be chatting and laughing. Their relationship wasn't normal. Brother Bao wanted Lee Hee to join in the fun. Just then, James walked over. Miss Chen. Mr. James? Chinku greeted. Hi, Mr. James. Lee Hee greeted too. Hi, young man. Are you an actor from China too? Yes, Mr. James. I hope we can work together. Ha! I hope so. James chuckled. Miss Chen, do you see that guy over there? He's Mr. Rasfa, the chairman of PLM. Come with me to say hi. Chen Ke, Li He, and Brother Bao all gasped. The chairman of PLM was at the peak of Hollywood. But just then, Rasfa saw Chen Zhao too. He immediately walked toward Chen Zhao. Chen, I heard that you have a daughter. How about it? Your daughter can be my goddaughter. I'll make her the brightest star in Hollywood. I promise, Stephen. What? That asterisk shoal. Why did he not promise me? Who told you to say it now? Chen Ke, Li He, and Brother Bao were all stunned. Mr. James, he knows Mr. Rasfa? Yes, they're good friends, James said. Your cousin was the one who helped me talk to Mr. Rasfa, James said. I became the executive director. Chen Ke gasped in astonishment. Li He and Brother Bao were dumbfounded. What was going on? Wasn't that person here to freeload? How did he suddenly know a superstar and the chairman of PLM? Since your cousin is here, there's no need for me to introduce Mr. Rasfa to you. Go over yourself. I believe your cousin will introduce him to you. After James left, Bao and Li He both looked at Chen Zhao. No wonder he could get a role in Hollywood. It turned out that he had such a cousin as a backer. Miss Chen, why don't we go together? Brother Bao said. I don't have a good relationship with my cousin. We're all family. What's so bad about it? Brother Bao advised. But at this moment, Stephen walked in from outside. Everyone's eyes were on Stephen. He was the main character tonight. Even the male and female leads were not as dazzling as Stephen. It was a godly movie with a godly box office record. Now, there was a rumor going around in Hollywood. The 6 major companies were saying that as long as Stephen was willing to accept their employment, he could choose any script, budget, actors, and editing rights. The global box office was $3.5 billion. What kind of concept was that? Last year, the global box office of all Hollywood movies was $39.9 billion. This meant that Stephen's movie accounted for 9% of Hollywood's global box office. Last year, the total box office in North America was $11 billion. Sea Patrol's North American box office was $2 billion. This was close to 20% of the box office. Last year, the third largest box office in Japan had only been $2 billion. Hollywood was the most developed place in the movie industry. It was also the place where the box office was the most important. This box office was enough for Stephen to stand above all directors. Moreover, the film had received unanimous approval from the critics. Even the most crafty filmmakers would find it hard to say no. It could be said that Sea Patrol was the perfect combination of art and commercial film. As for Stephen himself, he knew very well that this deified movie didn't have much of a core or meaning to it. It could be said that everything was guessed. Chen Zhao had never admitted it, but Stephen understood. Chen Zhao was the one who had helped him the most. He was even the one who had pushed him to the peak of his career. Stephen searched for Chen Zhao in the crowd. When he saw Chen Zhao and Rasfa, he gave them the middle finger. Chen Zhao and Rasfa did not stand on ceremony either. They both gave him the middle finger. However, Stephen could not go over and greet Chen Zhao right now. He had to go to the front desk and say a few words. Along the way, acquaintances kept coming over to congratulate Stephen or try to get close to him. Your cousin knows Stephen? Brother Bao's face was full of shock. Stephen did not hide his action at all. Many people in the banquet hall saw it. They're good friends. Shin Ke was also a bit jealous. Brother Bao and Li He gasped. Right now, Brother Bao and Li He were both a bit regretful. Only now did Li He realize that Stephen was here to eat and drink. But he knew the host of the banquet. Ding ding. Stephen tapped his spoon against the side of the goblet. Ladies and gentlemen, please be quiet. I'm very happy that everyone came to my movie celebration banquet. Of course, I also have to thank Rasfa for sponsoring this banquet. Stephen joked with Rasfa first. The guests all laughed along. What a joke. Stephen had earned $2 billion for PLM with less than $50 million. He had even pulled up PLM's stock price. His ability to create profits had probably surpassed all the directors in the world. This year, PLM's income, box office revenue, and stock price were probably higher than the other companies in the Big Six. Rasfa would probably be happy to host 100 banquets, let alone one banquet. Other than thanking Rasfa for giving me money to make the movie, I also have to thank another good friend for helping me. Chin, thank you for your support. Shinku, Li He, and Brother Bao were all shocked. Stephen was thanking a friend so solemnly at a celebration banquet like this. And this person was Qin Zhao, who did not seem to have any presence at the banquet. Of course, he's also my goddaughter's father, Stephen said, smiling. Chen, can you bring my goddaughter here? I object, Rasfa said loudly. Chen, we met first, Rasfa said loudly. Your daughter should be my goddaughter, not this old bastard's. Chapter 805. After the speech, Stephen came to Qin Zhao's side. He took little Jerlin from Qin Zhao's arms. Is this our daughter? Fuck, can you be more specific? Why do I feel like your words are misleading? What's her name? Jerlin, her mother's name. Qin Zhao picked up the picture frame that had been placed beside him. This is for you. Stephen glanced at Qin Zhao. Why don't you just give it to me? Stephen had never been the kind of person to admire art. He thought that Qin Zhao was going to buy some famous painting for him. $80. Are you sure you want me to transfer it to you? Fuck, can't you spend more money? $80 for a pair of asterisk. That's a good deal. Oh, asterisk. Stephen's interest was piqued. For him, these were the only works of art that could pique his interest. Take it. Beside him, Rasfa also took out a gift box and gave it to Stephen, but his tone was clearly not friendly. What an asshole! Brother Bao looked at Stephen, who was chatting happily with Qin Zhao, and pushed Li He. Go talk to them. That's not good. What's not good about it? Weren't you chatting happily with that person just now? Li He's face darkened. They'd been chatting happily. In the end, you ruined the opportunity. However, Qin Zhao, Stephen, and Rasfa had already left the banquet with the child. Just like Li He and Brother Bao, many people were there to get to know Stephen. But now, they could only watch Stephen leave. However, not everyone's eyes were filled with kindness. The target has left the banquet hall. His whereabouts are unknown. The target already has a tracker on him. You don't have to watch him too closely in case he gets exposed. Where are we going now? Out to sea, Rasfa said. I've asked you out a few times, but you didn't have time. This time, the three of us can finally go out together. It's so late, and I'm still carrying the child. What? Are you going to stand us up? Okay. I'll call Fei Lai. Are you a man? You're only out for one night, and you're calling Fei Lai? You two old bachelors, how can you understand what it's like to have a happy family like me? Qin Zhao looked at Rasfa and Stephen in disdain. Stephen and Rasfa were furious at Qin Zhao's words. Rasfa's yacht was already parked at the dock. The three of them went straight to the dock. Rasfa had more than one yacht, but this one was the biggest. It was more luxurious than Qin Zhao's Fei Lai. Stephen and Rasfa had actually dragged Qin Zhao out to relax. At their age, they had tried everything. The pressure brought by the daily work was also unimaginable. Only in this kind of situation where there were no outsiders could he enjoy a moment of peace by relaxing on the sea. The three of them sat on the deck, drinking and looking at the starry sky. Little Jerlin was placed in the cabin to sleep. Jerlin was still too young. Qin Zhao didn't want her to be exposed to the sea breeze at night. Shen, you and Stephen made a cameo appearance in James' movie? Yeah. I'm going to ask James for a role tomorrow. Do you really have to make trouble for James? Stephen rolled his eyes. I heard that when Shen went to James' crew, He made a few NGs more than 10 times. If he's not making trouble, then am I? Rasfa said, unconvinced. You said it yourself? Having him as a burden in the crew is already exhausting enough for James. You're adding to his burden. What are you talking about? When did I become a burden? You're no better than me. You're talking like you've never made NGs before. Qin Zhao looked at Stephen in disdain. At least I have fewer than you. That's because James doesn't dare to tell you too many times, Qin Zhao said. Do you really think you're that good at acting? Anyway, I'm better than you too. I was an actor back then, Rasfa said. That's something that happened many years ago. Come on, let's film a movie. I'll show you my acting skills, Rasfa said. You must be drunk. Why are you filming a movie here? There's a camera in the cabin. The three had drunk some alcohol and were a bit tipsy. After taking the camera, the three started to make a ruckus. One was in charge of the camera, while the other two acted out classic scenes from various movies. Titanic, Jack and Ruth fly against the wind at the bow. First time action. Rasfa was behind the camera. Qin Zhao circled his arms around Stephen's waist. Stephen opened his arms. Jack, I'm scared. Ruth, don't be scared. Trust me. Open your arms. Wait. Stephen, fuck, I'm a straight guy. Qin Zhao suddenly vomited and leaned against the fence. Haha. I'm dying of laughter. Rasfa laughed so hard he couldn't breathe. Let's do something else. I'll be in charge. You and Stephen act. The last scene of Jack and Ruth on the wooden plank after the sinking of the Titanic. Qin Zhao shouted. Action! This time, Stephen was Jack and Rasfa was Ruth. Don't be like this. It's not time to say goodbye. Not yet. Understand? You will be saved. You will live. Jack gazed at Ruth affectionately. You will give birth to many children. You will have many grandchildren. You will live to a ripe old age. One day in the future you will die in a warm bed. Not here, not tonight, not like this. Do you understand? I have one more wish. You have to promise me. You have to live. Don't give up. No matter what happens, no matter how slim the hope is, promise me, Ruth, promise me you'll do it. Qin Zhao was already crying from laughing so hard. Rasfa and Stephen were laughing too. Let me do it, let me do it. Stephen pushed Qin Zhao away from the camera. On the rooftop of the Matrix, Neo dodging bullets from the men in black. I want to play Neo, Rasfa said. Suddenly, the boat shook violently. The three lost their footing and fell to the ground. What's going on? What's going on? A yacht crashed into the yacht they were on without warning. A dozen people jumped onto their boat from the back. Qin Zhao's mind cleared up immediately. He charged at them. They were all uninvited guests. He couldn't let them board the boat. Otherwise, bullets had no eyes. Rasfa and Stephen might get hurt. Chapter 806. Bang! Qin Zhao lowered his head. The bullet hit the wall above his head. Qin Zhao raised his hand and threw the person in front of him onto the boat, knocking the shooter over. Bang! There was another gunshot. Qin Zhao shrunk his neck in fright. However, the criminal in front of Qin Zhao had fallen. Qin Zhao looked back. It was Rasfa with a gun. Fuck, watch carefully. Don't hit me. Don't worry. My shooting skills are fine. Be careful. Rasfa suddenly raised his gun and pointed at a person standing on the deck. Bang, bang. He stumbled again and fell in front of Qin Zhao. Did you see that? Did you see that? The kidnappers weren't careless at all. They started shooting in Rasfa's direction. Rasfa covered his head and scurried away in fear. Qin Zhao punched the person with the machine gun. Stephen wasn't afraid at all. He was still filming with the camera. While filming Qin Zhao, he would occasionally give Rasfa a few shots. Amazing, amazing. Qin, kill them. Stephen held the camera as if he were really on set. This was probably the first time they'd seen Chen Zhao's terrifying side. Just like that, the bandits were defeated by Chen Zhao effortlessly. Actually, there were only about 20 of them. When their boat had approached, Chen Zhao had dashed forward and pushed 8 or 9 of them into the sea. Then, the remaining people had to face Chen Zhao's crazy attacks. On the other hand, they had to face Rasfa's sneak attack. Rasfa, that old bastard, was really unexpected. His shooting skills were indeed top-notch. Of course, Chen Zhao's shooting skills were top-notch for everyone. In any case, Chen Zhao was basically useless when it came to anything related to guns. Chen Zhao's best record was standing 1 meter away and aiming at someone's head but not hitting them. But if he wasn't restrained by the gun, Chen Zhao could basically kill anyone in one move. Chen Zhao didn't know how many people he'd killed, but there seemed to be a few who were still alive. "Okay, you can come over now," Chen Zhao said, waving his hand. Stephen was the first to jump onto the criminal's boat. Only then did Rasfa follow. Seeing the corpses strewn all over the place, both of them gasped. When they looked at Chen Zhao, their eyes were filled with shock. "What are you doing? Watching me kill people and then being scared silly? Then tell me that I don't want to be friends with a homicidal maniac like you anymore, right? Chen, did you hit your head? Isn't that normal? Have you ever had normal friends?" Chen Zhao saw that Stephen was still holding the camera. "Did you record everything?" "I got them all." "Will this film be exposed?" "I do have plans to expose them." "Don't expose my face." "Why?" "Troublesome." "All right." Stephen shrugged. "By the way, do the 3 of us want to make a movie with this theme?" "Suit yourselves." Stephen and Rasfa both made a few calls. Then, the Coast Guard helicopters and speedboats arrived. They had heard that when Director Stephen was attacked on the sea, he had been shocked. Hundreds of police officers rushed to the scene, but when they arrived, they were shocked again. Was this really the scene where the robbers attacked them? Why did it look more like they had raided the scene of the robbers? After interrogating the surviving robbers, there were 25 of them in total. However, there were a total of 12 survivors including the dead. The Coast Guard also fished out 6 people from the sea. 3 of them were already dead. This meant that 7 people were still missing. In America, there was actually a saying that one had overdefended. If one thought about it, Chen Zhao had actually overdefended. If a robber broke into a house and was all killed by the house, he wouldn't be held legally responsible. This was called the fortress rule in America. It meant that if someone invaded your territory, everything you did was understandable. However, if it was outside your home, you might be punished if you fought back when you had the ability to only injure but not kill. Of course, yachts could also be included in the fortress rule. The yacht was also a private space, and the yacht that was attacked this time. One was a billionaire, one was a famous director, and there was a baby on the yacht that had been attacked. Therefore, it was acceptable for Chen Zhao to fight back. Besides, the people of the United States worshipped individual heroism. Even if Chen Zhao's act of protecting his friends and family wasn't accepted by the law, the people would still accept it. Of course, with Rasfa and Stephen's influence, if the police wanted to sue Chen Zhao, the 2 of them could definitely make the police kneel down and surrender. After the yacht docked, they still cooperated and went to the police station to make statements. However, before they reached the shore, they reminded Chen Zhao not to say anything before the lawyer arrived. Because they weren't criminals, they had the right to make statements with a lawyer present. As for the lawyer, Chen Zhao didn't need to worry at all. Anyway, they just made a few calls. When they arrived at the police station, a large group of lawyers was already waiting for them at the police station. When the police saw the large group of lawyers, they felt their heads swell. American police didn't hate criminals the most, but lawyers. Lawyers were their biggest enemies. Stephen was basically the most free. He didn't even do anything. However, his voice was also the loudest among them. He went to the police station and announced without caring about his image that he was going to sue the police for not doing anything. This old guy knew too well how to deal with the police. Since the police didn't have anything to do, he would gain the upper hand first. Of course, under the escort of a dozen lawyers, the three left the police station that night. "Chen, I was planning to bring a few bodyguards when we go out," Steven said, his eyes shining. "After seeing your skills tonight, I don't think we need bodyguards at all. Fuck, next time we go out, you have to bring enough bodyguards. Otherwise, I won't go out with you." They were still having a good time tonight, but they were attacked for no reason. No one would be happy about that. However, Steven and Rasfa seemed to be having fun. They weren't affected by the attack at all. Of course, they were just joking. The next time they went out, they would probably see dozens of bodyguards. They might look cheeky now, but they were all old men who were afraid of death. Chapter 807. "Abitos, your father summoned me to hell last time, but I went somewhere else," Chen Zhao said to Abitos. "Why did your father summon me to hell last time?" Chen Zhao asked Abitos. "Father wants some angelic crystals," Abitos said. "He wants to expand his territory, so he wants to start a war against his neighbors." Chen Zhao was dazed. "Do we still need it now?" "Not now. It's not time for father and mother to act yet." "Okay." Abitos said that Sophie Beelzebub wanted to start a war. Chen Zhao didn't plan on being a cynical pacifist. He was a demon lord. Fighting and killing were normal. If they suddenly became vegetarians one day, Chen Zhao would have to help them check if there was something wrong. In the next few days, Chen Zhao was basically in a state of relaxation. Little Jerlin could crawl, which made Chen Zhao happy for a few days. Although it had only been a little more than a month, little Jaren had grown slightly faster. She was also very active. Ever since she could crawl, she started crawling around the house freely. Because of this, Chen Zhao had to install a swing door at the stairs. He didn't want Jerlin to roll down the stairs. Other than the swing door, little Jerlin also had a few small animals following her around all the time. He had to ensure Jerlin's safety. Yeah. While Chen Zhao was sunbathing in the front yard, Jerlin had already crawled out of the living room. Chen Zhao took off his sunglasses and looked down at Jerlin. Shh. Jerlin pointed at the lake beside her with her tender little finger. Chen Zhao looked at Jerlin's hand gesture. Did the little girl want to go into the water to play? The lake was still very cold. Would she catch a cold if she went in? Chen Zhao looked at Jerlin hesitantly. But little Jerlin crawled 2 more steps on her own, her mouth making squeaking sounds. "Papa!" Chen Zhao perked up. He called Jerlin Daddy now? Jerlin's mouth opened and closed. She still couldn't say a word. After crawling to the lake, she didn't go down anymore. Even though she was young, she was still instinctively afraid. However, when she saw her friends playing in the lake every day, she also wanted to go down. Chen Zhao also came to the lake and carried Jerlin to the surface. First, he let her feet touch the lake water. If she retracts, don't let her go into the water for a while. However, as soon as little Jerlin's feet touched the water, she immediately kicked it excitedly. Chen Zhao put it down a little more, which made Jerlin even more excited. Chen Zhao finally put little Jerlin down. Little Jerlin became even more excited. She opened her mouth, wanting to drink more lake water. Ah! Chen Zhao also went into the water, but he was still holding on to Jerlin. Little Jerlin's short legs and arms began to row. Chen Zhao tentatively let go. Little Jerlin actually didn't sink. Instead, it began to swim there. Chen Zhao's heart jumped. He had read a report before. It was said that babies could swim when they were born. However, as he grew older, he would slowly forget about it. Now, seeing how little Jerlin was swimming, although it was quite strenuous, she looked very happy. On the other hand, Chen Zhao had been protecting her. At this moment, Simba and Nana jumped down from the shore. Simba and Nana grew up very quickly. They had already been in this house for half a year. They were already 50 centimeters long and weighed 20 kilograms. They were the most active members of the big family. Most lions didn't want to go into the water, mainly because lions lived on the African grasslands, The water was dangerous for them too. However, it was different here. They had been exposed to water since they were young and didn't fear it. Bramble and Bramble didn't change much. Brown bears had a longer growth period than lions. They needed at least 7 or 8 years to reach adulthood. They were only 2 months older than Simba and Nana. Princess was usually lazy and didn't care about Bramble and Bramble. So these two, Simba and Nana, formed the 4 heavenly kings. Now Jerlin, the little devil, was added. Seeing that Jerlin had gone into the water, the 4 jumped in too. This was Jerlin's first time in the water, so Qin Zhao couldn't help but be nervous. Although little Jerlin could swim, her stamina was a big problem. So, Qin Zhao didn't dare to let his guard down. He wanted to see how long Jerlin could swim for. As expected, after swimming 7 or 8 meters, Jerlin was tired. Qin Zhao picked her up and brought her back to the shore. "Does anyone want to go to the supermarket with me?" Qin Zhao planned to buy some children's lightboos for Jerlin to play with. Just like that, a group of pets ran out. Qin Zhao didn't plan to drive. He planned to walk. It was only 3 kilometers from the supermarket anyway. Feilai helped a drowning person to the shore. Suddenly, Feilai felt her legs go soft. The food she had eaten in the morning seemed to be rolling in her stomach. "Ugh, Feilai, you don't look so good. Are you sick?" Robio saw Feilai's expression. He remembered that Feilai had been sick last week. He wondered if it was because the weather had turned cold and she hadn't gotten used to it yet. "I'm fine. Maybe I swam too fast and my heart rate is a bit fast." Robio frowned. That wasn't right. Feilai's stamina had always been good. It was only 100 meters. How could her heart rate be irregular? "Feilai, are you sure you're okay?" Robio asked, concerned. "I'm really fine." Feilai smiled. She was much calmer now. "I'm hungry." "Okay, what do you want for lunch?" "It's my treat." 20 minutes later, Robio and Feilai sat outside an open-air restaurant. Robio looked at the table full of food with heartache. "Feilai, can you finish it?" "Of course. My appetite is especially good today. If you can't finish it, you're dead." Very soon, Robio realized that he had underestimated Feilai's appetite. Feilai had actually finished enough food for 3 people. Robio's eyes almost popped out. "Feilai, you really finished it all?" "Of course. Is there a problem?" "I still need some dessert." "Feilai, are you pregnant?" Feilai froze for a moment. After venting her anger that day, she had already forgotten about it. But after hearing Robio's words, she suddenly realized something. She had indeed been a bit strange these past 2 days. In the past, she could easily swim 1 or 2 kilometers in the ocean, but now, she was panting after swimming a few hundred meters. In addition, her appetite had increased quite a bit compared to before. Also, he occasionally felt nauseous for the past 2 days. Feilai wasn't sure. She touched her stomach subconsciously. Chapter 808. "Robio, I need to go to the hospital in the afternoon." "Feilai, you're not really pregnant, are you?" "I'm not sure." The coastal rescue team was different from other professions. Usually, people could only ask for maternity leave 3 months before the expected date of delivery. However, due to special reasons, if a member of the coastal rescue team was found to be pregnant, they had to take leave. If a pregnant woman with a big belly went to save people at sea, it would be a beautiful scene. Feilai was very nervous at the moment. Her heartbeat sped up unnaturally. After getting the leave slip from Robio, the first thing she wanted to do was call Qin Zhao. However, she was afraid that she would be happy for nothing. Buy a test strip. She should ask for first. Feilai picked up her phone and dialed 4's number. 4, I want to ask you a question." "What is it?" "What's the reaction in the early stages of pregnancy?" "Feilai, you have to face reality," 4 said earnestly. "You and Qin can adopt a child in the future. I'm just asking you a question. Why are you telling me so much?" "Fine. Why are you asking?" "I just want to know. First is the pregnancy reaction. In the early stages, the heart rate increases. At the same time, because of pregnancy, stomach acid secretion decreases and digestive enzyme activity weakens. That's why there's an acidophilic reaction. For started to explain some basic things. Of course, Feilai wouldn't understand even if she said she was responsible. Feilai thought for a moment and asked, "Then if there's an increased heart rate but no acidophilic reaction, does that mean I'm pregnant or not? If you want to know if you're pregnant, it's best to buy a test strip yourself or come to the hospital for a checkup. The test strip is more than 95% accurate. Also, there are many reasons for an increased heart rate. It might not be caused by pregnancy. Also, even if you're really pregnant, not everyone will have an acidophilic reaction," Feilai said. "It might also be a huge increase in appetite because the body is adapting to maternal instincts. The body needs a lot of nutrients." Feilai thought for a moment. Her appetite had indeed increased. "Are you at the hospital in the afternoon?" "I'm here." "What's wrong?" "I'll go find you later," Feilai said. For was confused. Was Feilai sick? This was because some special conditions would be very similar to pregnancy reactions, which would also lead to misdiagnosis. For had read Feilai's last report. She had basically concluded that Feilai's chances of becoming a mother were very low. At the very least, the possibility of giving birth herself was slim. However, she did not dare to say it too clearly. She was worried that Feilai couldn't accept the reality. He felt a little resentful towards Chen Zhao. He didn't want to help Feilai. Feilai came to Chantilly Hospital with nervous and complicated feelings. When For received Feilai's call again, his expression froze. She didn't know how to face Feilai. What if Feilai got a result that disappointed her or even made her despair? "Feilai, do you really want a pregnancy test?" "Yes." Feilai nodded. "Feilai, you know that your chances of getting pregnant are very low, given your body's condition," For said earnestly. "I know, but I just want to know." "All right then, you go to the toilet first." For sent Feilai's urine to the lab. "Far, how long will the test take?" "About 3 days." "Don't worry." "That long?" "Yes. If it's a test paper, it'll be out immediately. But since it's an instrument, it'll be much more complicated. Of course, the accuracy will be much higher too." Actually, it wasn't that complicated. The results could be obtained in 10 minutes. However, For hadn't thought of a solution yet. She specially told the lab staff not to take out the test report yet. "You're free in the afternoon, right? Let me walk with you," For said. "Sure," Feilai agreed happily. For saw that Feilai's hand was placed on her belly unconsciously. She felt that Feilai was bewitched. "Feilai, is there anything that a pregnant woman can't eat?" For was speechless. "Feilai, can't you wake up?" For felt that Feilai was really going to go crazy. "You have Chen beside you. Do you still need to ask me this question?" For rolled her eyes. "Chinese medicine has always been better than Western medicine in terms of treatment." Just then, the two saw a pregnant woman with a big belly sitting in the garden behind the hospital, enjoying the warm sunlight. Feilai walked over. "Can I sit here?" "Of course." The woman was already more than 8 months pregnant. Her belly was very big, 3 to 4 times bigger than Feilai's waist. The woman looked at Feilai, and Feilai looked at her belly. "Can I touch it?" "Sure." In China, there was a taboo for a 10-month pregnant woman to not corrodine. This meant that the pregnant woman's belly could not be touched by other women. Otherwise, if it entered the body, it wouldn't be good for the woman or the fetus. It was unlucky anyway. However, this was America, so there was no such taboo. "How does it feel?" Feilai asked curiously. "Very tired, but I'm looking forward to it," the woman said, smiling. "I have to come for a checkup almost every month." The woman looked at Feilai. "Your smell seems to be the same as mine. Do you have a child too? Can you tell?" Feilai asked, confused. The woman pointed at her nose. "A pregnant woman's nose is 10 times stronger than a normal person's." "I don't know. I'm here for a checkup today." Fei Lai suddenly felt the pregnant woman's belly move, as if a small foot was kicking her hand. Is it very strong? The woman's face was filled with a happy smile. Fei Lai nodded. Yes, very magical. Fei Lai also had an unprecedented desire for children. She wanted to be pregnant like this woman, and enjoy the process of being pregnant for 10 months. Perhaps for other women, it was a process of getting pregnant. However, Fei Lai was filled with anticipation and yearning. It was as if this could make her feel like a complete woman. A man like Qin Zhao could not understand such thoughts. Helpless, Fo spent the entire afternoon with Fei Lai and only sent her off in the evening. She returned to her office, planning to pack up and get off work. Just then, the doctor from the laboratory knocked on the door. Far, this is the test report of the urine you sent over today. Okay, thank you. Is this your report? No. You're tuning into the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.